You'd have been on my mind all night long. Maybe we'd have got a vodka lemonade. We show the cool kids how to be the youth of today. We jump the fence and play in the Mr. Rogans Pool. Hit call the police and we hide behind the school. We spend hours throwing stones into the sea. They were the best days of my life, I promise thee. Oh, I could be a saint while you would be the sinner. My mother used to frown when I'd invite you home for dinner. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day I'd give my everything to see your face again. Oh, I'm so sorry I've been distant in the past. I've written tons of letters and they'd ended in the trash. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day I'd give my everything to see your face again, my friend. We fooled around when we got to 22. I remember falling so in love with you. But your parents packed your bags and moved away. Your father got a job in the Empire State. Oh, how I wish you stood your ground and stayed behind. I've loved and I've lost, but you made me feel alive. I guess you got a job, a life and a family, but I promise my heart will always have a place for thee. Oh, I could be a saint while you would be the sinner. My mother used to frown when I'd invite you home for dinner. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day I'd give my everything to see your face again. Oh, I'm so sorry I've been distant in the past. I've written tons of letters and they'd ended in the trash. Oh, my darling, how I miss you to the day I'd give my everything to see your face again, my friend.
Hey there. I know at least a few people are overwatching a movie with Karina in one section of a server that shall not be named. Hey Viva. Hey Lotta. Oh, that knee. That knee is, that knee took a bit of abuse today. It was my, first day back training with, it's my first day back training with, at my new sports performance place with my personal trainer. It was the thing. I was there for an hour and a half and we cut it short because I had shit to do. I had to be back home. Otherwise it would have been 2.5 hours. But yeah, we're doing it 2.5. We're doing it 2 times a week. If we can whip this old jalopy into some semblance of decent shape, then we'll consider 5 days a week. But yeah. So, hey, the weather. Hello, Viva. Viva was first. Look at Viva. Fucking was in here a ways. Oh, I'm a lot of, and for, hey there, for twos. We'll see who shows up over time. But who knows what this stream is going to look like. Fuck. I thought yesterday was going to be sedate because I have to keep my voice in check. But I ended up pissing off conservatives and evangelicals, and is what it is. Viva. Amorous. Hey, thank you for the gift sub and congratulations, Weather. Thank you very much, Amorous. Yeah, it was it was a day. It was a day. It's you know, like I said, that's the first time I've been back in a very long time. We're gonna work on some asymmetries. My left arm is significantly smaller than my right. It's underdeveloped. My shoulders need work. Traps need work. The knee is completely utter dog shit. My right knee hurts right now. We were doing a whole bunch of lunges, deep, just squats, lunges, asymmetric lunges, fucking weighted. We're rehabbing. Willie, no. Thank you for the joke, though. But no, it comes from me being heavily right arm dominant and using that to do most of my suspensions when I used to be a climber. And through my atrophied years now, dealing with a series of illnesses and all of that sort of stuff, as they've shrank down, the asymmetry has held, which is weird. But I suppose expected. Hey, Frackle. Oh, well, that's kind of you to say. Oh, Lotte, it was actually kind of entertaining. I have fun with evangelicals. I have fun with Christians. I like poking at them. Because, you know, most atheists are like, oh, I like, trying to anger Christians. If you want to anger a Christian, you have to come at him as a Christian. Like, right? Like, they don't give a shit if you're an atheist and you're like, everything you believe is nonsense and made up. And, you know, they're just going to say, well, you don't know anything. You're going to hell anyway. Coming at them as an ordained minister and saying, you're a bad Christian. That drives them insane. And I have a lot of fun doing it that way. Hello, Wither. I thought I said hello. But yeah, Rev, that guy was special. Amorous, I don't even have to interpret them the way they don't like. It doesn't take much interpretation. It honestly doesn't. Some of my favorite Bible passages are pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, but yeah, it was a good show. Dude, they lit up. Whole bunch of them came in. I mean, it kicked off. It kicked off. Oh, okay, with her. You do understand. You do know that pederasty or pedophilia is not the same as homosexuality, right? Just the way you worded that seems a little amorous. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's all mistranslated anyway. You and I are gonna have some issues probably. But I mean, you know, some of my favorite passages of the Bible are anti-capitalist. Hey, Caboose. Caboose. I almost yeah. Watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna fuck with some people. Watch this. Boom. 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 Boom.
Oh shit.
Boom.
Well,
look at that.
Oh fuck.
Hell, we have been conscripted.
Yeah, so
Well, I guess I'm not going to bed right now.
you were drafted, bitches.
Uh,
How'd you finish the movie? I was gonna say,
fucking
I wasn't gonna say anything, but when Caboose came in and then Karina came in, I was like, well, you know, that amusing thought I had. I'm having trouble controlling it now.
Hello, chat.
I'm gonna mute the stream.
Back in the comments.
I love how that works. Oh, Willie, you and I are gonna have some interesting conversations. I can see that already. Appointed as volunteer. Exactly, Willata. Yes.
I remember William.
Yeah, they got timed out by RV apparently. Oh yeah, RV timed him out, and I don't know if we held that or not. I don't know if I undid that, but I mean, what he did say was true. Yeah, I remember that. He said, you know, did you know Karl Marx raped his maid and forced her to leave with his bastard child once the kid was born? Which is actually accurate, so. Yeah, I don't know if RV knew that or not.
Marx stands here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just going over my day a little bit, and some of what.
Yeah, I have a. Religion is dumb.
Yeah. Depends whose religion and how they practice. So yeah, Kat, how you feeling? You still holding up?
I actually feel like shit. This thing is actually like kicking the fuck out of me.
Go to bed then.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
I can hold out.
You don't need to.
It's not like debilitating. It's just like, more tired than usual, and I already got like fucking 8 hours of sleep. I would just be packing on the hours at this point. Which, I mean, hey, probably not a bad thing to do, but you know, I'll live.
Oh Willie. Oh Willie. I don't know what inadequacy you suffer from and what you're trying to overcompensate for, but
He is correct. The world wasn't made by limp dick liberals. It was made by leftists.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
Shots fired.
I wouldn't even. Here's the hottest take. It was actually made by limp dick leftists, limp dick liberals.
It really was. Neoliberal hypercapitalism basically took over the world.
Yeah, I mean, not even that. I'm just saying, like, look at the revolutions across Europe and the advent of like American like liberalism. Like, America is the product of liberalism, whether you like it or not.
Although I don't know how limp dick it was, given how we know some of those founders like their slave women.
Yeah.
Willie, I
It's one
have
thing to want your wife barefoot and pregnant. It's another thing to want all your slaves too.
you've been banging on about this whole circumcision thing for a little bit, Willie. Do you have issues? Oh, I don't know how I'm like down below. Like you seem a little overly focused on that.
Yeah, can we just like stop cutting, young men's penises for purely aesthetic reasons? That'd be great.
Hello,
Well,
without
for
adjectives.
religious reasons.
I will
We don't-
reclaim my
No,
foreskin.
I entirely think it is boiled down to I have it, so my son should have it too. And I think that is what has made it really last more.
Oh, Willie. Willie, do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to get on air? I need to talk to you. This is hilarious. Oh, bless your heart.
No, that is true. Circumcision does reduce the sensitivity of the penis.
Oh,
I mean,
but it doesn't reduce sex, nor does it reduce degeneracy or the help you avoiding fucking whores.
Oh, that
Okay.
actually. Not at all. I'm sorry. Nope.
Willie, consider this. I like whores.
Hell
Also,
yeah.
Willie, how would you feel? How would you feel if I told you the most sensitive sexual part on the male body is inside the anus?
Oh, the prostate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't even the dick, my guy.
It ain't even the dick. We have a clit, and it's in our bum.
God damn it, God.
Without, I don't know. Has Vosh managed to spin up a new controversy since the last one? I mean,
Nope.
I'm
Actually, Serge
we're still
Serge tried to play awkward middleman today.
When is the Surfs not doing that?
That's fair.
Oh.
I think that's like their whole shtick. They want to be like the every leftist.
Oh, Willie.
try.
Willie, you are, bless your heart. Oh, I can only imagine how bad you are in bed, my man. Oh, you must be miserable to sleep with. Holy
My God.
shit. I can only imagine. The devil put it there to check your willpower. Exactly, Amorous. I love every one of those pastors who's like, homosexuality is a temptation of the devil. Really? Wait, so do you wake up every morning feeling like you want to bang dudes? Because I know a lot of straight dudes, and they don't have that urge in the morning.
I
They don't
pray
really
to.
think to call it devil anything. They just don't think about it.
Well, if it's not a big deal, then why do we have to circumcise people?
It's sex isn't a big deal. It's there to procreate children.
Yeah, so then like, what's the point of the fucking circumcision? Then
So
leave them alone.
what's
If it's not a big deal.
what's the purpose of the orgasm then?
Yeah.
Why is it pleasurable, not painful,
Um,
like the rest of childbearing?
Or why isn't it like, say, I don't know, like stretching or something? Like, it doesn't even need to be like pleasurable. It could just be something we do.
Willie, I hate to be Willie.
Oh, Willie, do not go down that road.
No,
Oh.
Willie,
No, don't do it, Willie.
Willie.
Oh,
we're gonna
no.
start with square one. You don't have a man doesn't have to achieve orgasm to ejaculate. I'm gonna give you a little biology lesson here. It happens all the time. You can fully inseminate a woman and have it achieve pregnancy, fully fertilize the egg without achieving an orgasm as a male. This is 100% a thing that happens fairly regularly. And as for women, I can understand why you're frustrated. You're probably not very good at it.
Which, to be clear, you can learn. We're not judging you, but like,
You
okay,
can.
maybe we're judging you a little.
No, I am.
Let's
I'm
not
judging
here,
you.
but, like,
I'm good at sex.
Really?
I'm judging.
Willie, Willie, be honest. Please be honest. We're not judging you if you don't. Do you have a significant other right now?
I mean, does a body pillow count?
No.
Then probably not.
What if you microwave the body pillow
Can we
first?
let's give the benefit of the doubt. That's judging. That's judging.
I've
said
already
we're not
said
judging.
I am. I've already been very forthright about that. I am judging.
He's been married for 17 years.
That poor woman.
Okay.
Did he just contradict himself?
Oh, you're poor.
Oh,
No,
so that
no.
actually-
Without
yeah,
you don't. You
yeah,
really
you
don't.
really don't.
Yeah, that's actual biology. That is real anatomy. You don't have to ejaculate to inseminate a woman. That is actually
Yeah,
true.
especially if you're young.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's something like if you've masturbated within 4 days, your pre-cum will do it.
Yeah,
Got to dribble before you shoot.
Yeah.
it is actually truth. Willie.
Does that mean I'm extra infertile if I don't masturbate and then just bagango?
Violent smoker. That is true. Yes. Just because
You're
you have a
probably
good
safer
pull-out
than
game.
otherwise, but even then, you know, don't tempt God if you don't have to.
Willie. Okay, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, Willie. You are free to ignore them. You are free to tell me to fuck off. 1. How old are you? Range is fine. 2. What country and or region of that country do you live in? Specifically, if you're in the U.S., what region of the U.S. do you live in? 2 to 45. Okay, so I'm going to go with probably 40 to 45. Are you an American? Canada, BC, Newfoundland is his answer to that.
2 to 45 is his age range.
Yep, so we're going to go with 40 to 45. Probably, God, I want to hedge my bets and say he's still American, but he could be Canadian. 3, do you have children? And if so, are any of them daughters? 4.
Oh, God.
2 and 2. Okay, so... God, I hope none of that is
You want to
true.
not contradict yourself? Newfoundland in BC? Those are two
No,
separate provinces.
I know. He's giving like non-answers. 2 to 45 is his age range. I'm hoping that none of those answers are accurate. I'm hoping you're like 17 from like Louisiana, and you've never seen the inside of a vagina.
No, see, actually, I think we can guarantee they haven't seen the inside of the vagina, because that would mean they'd have to, put their face there.
I mean, there's no way he got laid 4 times.
My boy Willie is not brave enough to go down on a woman.
No, clearly not.
Oh no, that's sodomy. That's for sinners. That's for degens. See? What did I fucking say?
At least he owns the fuck out of it, alright?
Yep.
You
Women-
disgust me, because that means, in your mind, sex can only be pleasurable for you.
Oh yeah, no, he straight said that already. He said women
already
shouldn't have orgasms.
No, he said women can't have orgasms.
Did it?
I want to know if he thinks women shouldn't have orgasms, because we know he's wrong there. In fact, you can watch a woman quiver and quake over top of your tongue.
Oh yeah, he said
Little
yeah,
giggling
he
and
did.
shakes.
He and Hey Ryder, he actually did. Yeah, he said women can't orgasm.
I missed the intro
Okay.
guy. What's going on?
He
What's this
basically, I'm hoping he's just a troll because God help whoever he ends up sleeping with, if he isn't. But either way, that's enough attention to somebody who, quite frankly, I have questions as to whether their dick has ever gotten wet. But yeah. Cant is sadder, shouldn't is annoying. Wither is actually right on that that assessment. That fucking shouldn't is annoying. Can't is just Willie.
Women can't come or shouldn't come.
Can't is
This woman can't.
Yes.
Well, I think Willie couldn't make me come, so I agree with him on that end.
From an Noah Lopez MX, which I'm gonna just take from Mexico. Can I come debate you as to why you're a terrorist from a 2-hour-old account? Noah, if you think I'd let you on my air with that as an introductory statement from a 2-hour-old account, you are sorely mistaken.
Noah, can I debate you on how you fuck pigs and like to take it up the ass like a good little girl when they do it?
God damn.
Damn. That was 0 to 100.
Gotta warm up first, Karina.
Although,
No, they fucking come in like a dipshit who are gonna waver around things like big words like terrorists. They better be willing to back up the heat.
fair enough.
I'm just saying, you gotta warm up to that a little bit. You gotta, there's a, you know,
Nah.
you don't just do that.
So
You don't just stick it in.
You gotta start with the preparation H applicator before you go to the fist, man.
Yeah.
I mean, after
That's
you've
what
done it
happens
a
when you
few
watch
times, you can
K-pop.
skip a couple of steps, but yeah, I mean, you still need to warm up. Count Dankula uploaded his latest Mad Lads video, and it is, I would encourage everybody to go watch it.
Who's it on?
The Secret Society of the Pugs.
Oh no!
Oh yes, it's good. It's good because you know he got in trouble with his pug. Fucking that's okay. Yeah.
Might want to rephrase that.
He
No, it's intentional.
he basically he tells the story of the Secret Society of the Pugs, which is a historically documented secret society that was a splinter group after the Catholic Church, after the Pope at the time issued a papal bull denouncing the Freemasons and ordering all Catholics to leave the Freemasons and condemning their order. And so one of the offshoot splinter groups was the Order of the Pugs, and it's a reference to King James, I believe, King James II, maybe, who brought his pugs with him to England. And he actually goes through one of their initiation rites, which is amazing. It's fucking amazing. They're all the members are known as pugs. And so basically outside the hall, you get on all fours, you scratch and paw at the door to be let in after being blindfolded. When they eventually let you in, you go into the room, you circle around a few times. They tell you that you're they treat you as if you're a feral dog, basically. They put a brass collar around your neck. They lead you up, after they lead you around the room a few times on a leash, they lead you up to the Grand Master, and he explains how you're a feral dog, but there's hope for you yet, and to stick out your tongue, and he's going to brand it with an iron. And they put a piece of cold steel on your tongue to freak you out. Since you're blindfolded, you can't tell anyway. At this point, the blindfold comes off, and you notice that the room is full of other pugs, and they're all having a good giggle at your expense at that point. The initiation rites aren't over yet, though. one of the traditions, depending on what local or regional group you're dealing with, was to kiss the back end of a pug. Some of them went full hardcore and made you kiss the actual ass of a pug. Some of them just did a statue. Depends who you're dealing with. It's a really good story. It honestly is. I would recommend go watch it. It's funny as fuck.
These people fucking.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing that came to my head when I started hearing this. Just like,
Oh,
there must have been some crazy fucking
the
banging going on.
the
there.
master asked you 3 questions during your initiation. Are you willing to fuck your fellow pugs? Are you willing to fuck a pug? Are you willing to fuck the devil himself?
What is this?
This guy fucks.
So this is just a kink club?
It was actually all done as near as anybody can tell. Some of it was probably kink, but as near the guy who founded it, that they think was very hedonistic. But it was done as sort of a spit in the face of the Pope and the monarchs of Europe at the time. It really was very much fuck you, fuck your religion, fuck your authoritarian orders, fuck your kings and queens. We don't care what you say to do, and we're going to do this instead.
Well, BRB, I'm gonna go become a fucking pug.
Someone clip that. Welcome to the raid, Tiberius
Thank
D,
you.
with your 29 viewers. Thank you
Oh,
for showing up.
Fuck you both in a kennel. Naughty boy.
Tam, sometimes there were. Yeah, welcome everyone. You certainly came in at an interesting time.
There had to be a raid the moment I said that, too.
Yeah,
Of course. They're actually, sadly, I'm more disappointed they came at the end of the story rather than the beginning.
yeah. Willie, knock off some of that language, or else somebody's gonna end up timing you out. Just rein it in a little bit. Rein it in a
Seriously,
little
man.
bit. I mean, I put up with all of your bullshit about how women can't orgasm and how you're shit in bed as a result of it and all of that sort of stuff. So, like, just do me a solid. Rein it in a little bit. Oh, Wallada. Actually, there was only 2 levels of hierarchy to the secret society of the Pugs. There was the Grand Master Pug, the leader of the order, and everybody else was considered equal. Also, they weren't fraternal. They allowed women as well, and the Grand Master had an equivalency called the Grand Pug had an equivalency called the Grand Mistress, and she was equal to the Grand Pug in all ways. She could conduct the same ceremonies. If he was absent, she could do any of the rites or initiations in his absence.
This shit sounds awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, they weren't even a fraternal order. Where the Masons were fraternal, they actually were. They let women and men in. So
It was probably on the agreement. It's like, hey, listen, we're not joining your sex club unless you give us some power. Simply put.
info. Imagine a world in which the Pope has direct control over whether you live or die. Imagine a Roman Catholic Church that can depose kings and queens. Right? This is the sort of setting that you're living in at that moment. What is one of the most taboo things one could take an oath to swear at that time? To literally fuck the devil. Would you be willing? Would you swear an oath to fuck the devil up the ass and let the devil fuck you up the ass? Right? This is spitting directly in the face of the Roman Catholic Church. That was the purpose of it.
I solemnly swear upon my utter fragile fuck me daddy devil butt. I'm not even gonna go on with this.
This is Twitch, Karina.
He'd probably be a pretty solid lay though. That's all I have to say.
Honestly, yes.
So
I do agree, Willie. Actually, like, Willie, if you want to... So, again, you're making a lot of assumptions of us. Like, if we want to reel in any jokes here, I agree that that video should not be considered G-rated. But it's not really that bad either.
What video are we talking about?
Lil Nas.
A little Nas X one where he lap dances on Satan's lap.
There are people still mad over that shit?
Yes, the Christians got really pissed about it.
I hate to be the bearer. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Cat, but there's still people pissed about Sodom and Gomorrah, and that shit didn't even happen.
I can't with this shit.
So
We won't hear the end of it ever.
you know, yeah.
He's just like a meme artist.
People,
you know?
there's entire like legions of people who are upset over fairy tales. So
Dear God.
He's a
Oh, I
gay
know what Willie's
black
talking
man
about.
who took
Dick or dildo.
white Christian mother's version of heaven and hell and played all happy-go-lucky gay man in it, and they're upset about it.
Rev, the command only works if the command is isolated. You can't tag someone and use the command at the same time. So, there you go. Australia's got it. So yeah, it's definitely on my recommended go watch it list. He uploaded it earlier today and it's hilarious. The comment section is goddamn brilliant. Everybody talking about how there's a global conspiracy involving pugs and how that we fucking knew it. This goes so much deeper. It wasn't just the freedom of speech issue involving your dog. It was the fact that it was a pug and the secret society of the pugs is still active and they're out to get you now because you used their idol incorrectly.
Use their holy symbol.
Yeah. It's honestly, the comment section is kind of hilarious.
Never gonna look at a pub the same.
Frankly, I think it just adds to their charm. They didn't really have much going for them.
Yes.
Otherwise.
Oh, one of the so like Masons have all their handshakes, and you know, here's if I can show you one. Here's one. If you ever notice, they tend to there's a whole bunch of Masonic handshakes, but one of them is fingers up on the pulse.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fucking Aryan Brotherhood handshake.
Everybody steals from the Masons.
Okay, fair enough.
The Mormons do, the Scientologists do. Yeah, everybody steals from the Masons. And the Masons stole from ancient Egyptian and North African mystery religions. So, you know, humanity. It's what we do. But
Nothing's original.
the Order of the Pugs had some very interesting signs and symbols. One of them has survived, and it was I'm not kidding you. Imagine a bunch of noblemen and noblewomen doing this as a secret sign to one another. In an era where, you know, nobility is supposed to act proper. Yeah. The whole point of that secret society was it was a troll. It was a troll. It was a hedonistic troll towards monarchism, towards the Roman Catholic Church, towards a prim and proper society, towards authoritarianism. Yeah, it's kind of a brilliant story. Yeah, go watch it.
Will you? You're a Hayek guy, and you're shitting on liberals. He is literally like the proto-neoliberal economist. He is responsible for global neoliberalism.
Never give a gay person your credit card.
That's probably sound advice.
Well, why would we need your credit card? On average, homosexuals actually have more disposable income than heterosexuals. We're better off. Per capita, on average, homosexuals in America are far richer than you straights. We're better off than you. Because we're not fucking pumping out kids that cost us $250,000 a pop.
The fuck is Keynesian gay economics?
The Keynes, he's basically like the progenitor for like social democratic like economics.
Yeah. Yeah, the last person you'd have to worry about handing your credit card to is a gay person, because we already have our own money. We don't need your broke ass straight credit card that's probably already $3 below its limit. What's your limit on your credit card anyway, Willie? $12? That's not a good sign when you have to ask which one. That's not a good sign.
You have multiple.
That's, yeah. Living that American debt life, I see. You do you.
The American dream.
Also, Williams, Keynesian economics does work. It's like
Japanese.
it's working across
I
all
was about to say, if it's the Social Democrat, doesn't that work surprisingly well?
well, yeah, it works across like all of Europe.
And I agree, Japanese, but you know, that doesn't change the fact of the matter on the ground right now as it is. If you can snap your fingers, if like any of you have magic wands or anything like that, and you can institute, and by the way, don't call it free education or free healthcare, for the love of God. In America, that just sets our cause back. It's not free.
It's slavery.
Don't call it that, please. You just set the argument back like 3 hours with any conservative idiot that we have to talk to. Yeah. So, but I mean, if you've got a magic wand and you can get some universal single payer health care and subsidized university level educations in this country, and you could just sort of magic that shit into being, you're not going to catch any arguments from me. But unless you don't have that magic wand, the reality of the situation is, as Americans, the average cost of a child to raise to the age of 18 in America is $250,000. It's $250,000. You have 4 kids, it's $1 million you would have had otherwise. What could you do with $1 million? Just saying. Your jeans won't die off. Willie, your jeans have holes in them already, right? They're looking a little raggedy.
Define die off.
Willie, my jeans are fine. My familial lineage will continue on. I don't care about mine. And my boyfriend, by the way, has a kid. My boyfriend actually has an adult son. So, you know, just saying. I don't really care.
Also, William, you have to understand that personal finance is different from economic policy.
Oh,
Debt
he doesn't know that.
On a countrywide, debt on a countrywide scale isn't a bad thing. It ensures trade relations and makes sure that other economies are invested in the growth of your economy. You need to go back to fucking school, William.
Willie, I'm sure you have a bachelor's in economics. One of our community members has multiple degrees in economics and finance and control, and is responsible for risk management at a private investment bank that he oversees $1 billion worth of funds. Trust me, I have better advisors than some schmuck who has a bachelor's in economics within my community who I talk to about these sorts of matters. Is he gay? No, he's got 2 kids and a wife.
Yeah, he's good people.
Yeah. You can doubt it all you want, but we've all seen his credentials. Like, he's put them on stream for us before to see his degrees, and I've spoken to him personally. I know the job status in the facility. He's doing just fine. Yeah. So you're not the expert I would be consulting. Boss, it went well. My knee is dog shit right now. It's not feeling great. The left shoulder's a little rough, but you know, stretches, hanging stretches and that sort of stuff sort of sorts that for me to some extent or another. But it felt good. Felt good to check out. I like a coach. I like a trainer. Oh, bless your heart, on God. I like a coach, a trainer, and he knows that. We had a nice long chat about that while we were working out. That you know, fucking, if my form is incorrect, just come up and fix it. Like, consent given. Just manhandle me. I'm good. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'll just be here, letting the body do what it needs to do and check out mentally. It's a good meditative process. For anybody who's been an athlete at some one point or another in their life knows what that feels like, to be in the zone. Just check out. The body, you know what the body knows what it needs to do, and you do it. And it's a nice place to be. But yeah, I'm paying for it a little bit. Oh Lord, you're adorable.
What's he saying now?
Fuck Antifa.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's not Willie. That's fucking some other person, and then some other schmuck as well. On God 7 said Trump 24, Trump 2024, and then Willie said, why Trump 2024? Why not Trump 2022? And then some got my OG said, fuck Antifa. Bless all your hearts.
God.
You're adorable.
Have Willie write some financial advice in the comments before pre-market open.
Well, no, he's not a financial advisor. He has a degree in economics, which, you know.
Oh, got my OG. Shut up, libtard. Not a liberal.
I just find it funny how we have a guy shitting on liberals, and he's literally a fan of Hayek.
Oh,
I like what
Cat, we've covered it before. They have no formal education in anything they believe. They've never researched it. They've never looked into the origins of anything they spout off. So looking for ideological consistency amongst chuds is, well, a fool's errand at best.
You're gonna get a headache, dude.
Yeah, but it's just like literally the neoliberal economist. It's just, you know.
Trumo 20,240. Well, I'll see you there on God 7. Hopefully we'll have upload technology, and you know, you and I can have a nice little chat in the cloud. Papa John Pig 1312. I remember that. Wait, am I? Yeah, you've been here before. You've been following for a little bit.
Here's a fun one. William, why is inflation bad?
Got my OG said fuck trans rights. Got my OG. Here's the hard truth. Human rights don't exist.
Oh shit, we're doing this?
We're doing this. We made them up.
Okay.
We made them up. They're a human construct. You have no rights. I have no rights. No one has any rights. Under an authoritarian system, such as ours, they don't exist. You don't own any property. The government can take it at any time. You have no civil liberties. They can be taken from you at any time under the 13th Amendment. All we have to do is convict you of a crime, whether wrongfully or rightfully, and you are legally a slave under this system. Willie's actually on point. We have privileges. You have no such thing as rights. They don't exist. They're a great idea. I'd love us to get behind it. I'd love to implement a system of governance and a societal order that actually can enshrine that to some degree or another and follow it and actually practice what we preach. But that's not what we're doing. So
somebody asked, who would you like to see come up after Biden?
I don't really give a shit. We'll see what the field looks like. Bernie's too old now. He was too old this cycle as well. But I don't know. We'll see. Got my OG. Calls to violence are TOS. You've just received your first timeout. Do it again. And Cyberny 2024. Do it again and you get banned. It's not even a channel thing. It's a Twitch thing. So, if you haven't already fucked off. And as for Plantera Blade, I thought slavery was abolished. No, we actually codified it. We didn't abolish it. Go read the 13th Amendment and come on back and tell me how slavery was abolished. We didn't get rid of it.
So, William, who controls the financial shit? Who are these elites you speak of?
Oh, you just...
Please don't say Jews.
Oh, shut up, Caboose.
You fucking ruined it.
God damn it. They're always 3 questions off from blaming the Jews for something.
Right, but who controls the Fed?
Yeah. Yeah, Amorous, no hints.
Sorry.
Trump almost took over the Fed. You're adorable, Willie. There we go. There we go. There we go. On God went full mask off at least. On God, I respect you a little more. I think you're a bigot and probably really obnoxious to be around, but I do respect you a little more for just saying it. Just own it. You have a shit opinion. Say it. God, I love these people.
Pretty sure On God's a troll, but I'm getting the feeling Willie might be genuine.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. I classify them. Oh, boom. Yeah, exactly, Rev. Congrats, you're an honest asshole.
Okay, William, if that's your... Okay, so William, if that's your claim, then like, why are you a fan of Hayek, who's all about enriching these assholes?
Because he's never read Hayek.
Yeah, it's like if you want to like why are you not advocating for taxing the shit out of these people, or at the very least like wealth caps or unionization or like literally anything?
Oh, and
I understand it was anti-Fed, but that was only to get rid of the bureaucracy that would enrich these people.
So
I'm not a fan of Milton Friedman, jackass.
Okay, so Greg here, or On God as they prefer to be known on Twitch, but his name is Greg. Greg here, it's in his Twitch profile. Greg here loves to retweet about altcoins and Ethereum and cryptocurrencies in general. There's a Musk fucking meme. Oh, there's multiple Musk memes. Oh, that's...
Oh, what a poor little sin.
All right, cool. Just trying to figure you out, Greg. All right, Angie. Angie said she's going to jump off the air so she can save her energy for the early streams, but she's volunteering Willie to take her spot before she goes to bed.
Gotcha.
So Willie, if you'd like to come on air and discuss male genital mutilation in the developed world, I'd love to have that conversation. Also, a theological conversation with somebody such as yourself is always amusing to somebody like me. So I'm open to that as well. And any other topics therein. Rev seconded. If this is... Oh, Mr. Sir, you know the way to my heart. You really do. Alright.
Mr. Cersei?
Well, hang on. I'll put it on screen. I just need to rearrange my windows here because I was fucking with them earlier.
No.
Aww.
What a cute little cat.
Love a capybara. Japanese. Swag. The Bible was written and edited by men, not a huge amount to debate. Then everything you were saying earlier is up for debate then, Willie. Like, everything you were saying was up for debate then.
Yeah, at that point, it's literally just religion is whatever I feel is immoral.
Yeah, all of your talk about sodomy and Sodom and Gomorrah and the degeneracy of homosexuality and, you know, how Satan is involved in shit. And, yeah, all that stuff is then, well, fair play.
Yeah, if you see God directly, that means you're leaving people up to their own devices as to how they determine what God even is.
It's called faith. Debating faith is impossible. Oh, faith. You mean the belief in something despite the utter lack of evidence therein? Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's no debating that. If somebody believes something for absolutely no tangible reasons whatsoever, there's not much you can do about that. Can't logic somebody out of something they didn't logic their way into. That is fair. Not a story, it's real. Yeah. Hey,
my God,
hey,
that I sought out told me that it is just a story.
Well, on God 7, or Greg, I'm just gonna call you Greg. Greg, we're gonna do this. This is second day in a row. Fuck it, let's do this. If it's the week of the religious people, then fine. I've been an ordained minister for 18 years. Come at me, bro.
I genuinely thought we were going to be picking more fights with leftists after this Voss shit this week, but Dan.
Nah.
No, it's going to be a theme.
Rev, why is it always a Greg?
A lot of people lose sight of the fact that like leftist politics are mostly like an online thing. You know, like this country and world is still dominated by right-wing chuds.
I can buy my own shoes, Willie. I can buy my own lots of stuff. I might buy some Glenlivet water soon. So not going to. But,
no!
Dude,
no,
that was the dumbest.
I'd be so disappointed in you if you
Trust me, I got better shit to spend my money on. I'm not dropping fucking $800 on a liter of water.
800? I thought it was $1 million.
No, it was $800 for a liter of water. But you know, yeah, I got better things to spend my money on than that. Astray Priesthood, and that's how much water will be. I am confident in the cosmological argument. Viva, it comes from the same source that Glenlivet uses for their premium scotches. So, yeah.
William, do you know what cosmological means?
Quick, Willie, quick. Define cosmological. No, don't open another tab. Come on, do it. Start typing. I mean, I kind of, for that, no, on God, it doesn't. No. Willie is far closer than you as far as definitions go. I would give him that. It sort of, depends, whether we're talking about theological or scientific. But yeah, it's origin. It's sort of the origins of, and it's a branch of study of the origins of universe, space, and time for all intents and purposes. Fructose, the English language, well, that too, but the American educational system. Yeah, I have my doubts that they're from Canada.
See, I don't like your choice of word there, fine-tuned, Willie. I think you should more consider evolution like throwing a dart on a dartboard. Close counts. Humans are filled with useless and actually unnecessary organs. We're, like, not perfect beings in any way, shape, or form on a biological scale. We are monkeys that stood up and learned to pick up spears instead of keep throwing poop. That is really what we boil down to. And I'm proud to be smart monkey instead of dumb monkey, like Republicans keep wanting to return to.
Come on, Willie. We're not even close to the end-all creation.
We're at Willie. If you think that we were intelligently designed, then the intelligence of that creator is subpar.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
that's the thing. Is that like
dumb as fuck.
Our
that's the thing is that like invoking the cosmological argument is literally, I feel like things are pretty or intelligent, therefore there has to be a god. It's the peak of intuitional, emotional, like irrationality.
I mean, our eyes are shit. Shrimp have better eyes than us. Dragonflies have better eyes than us. I mean, there's a whole multitude of cephalopods and insects that have better eyes than us. Our joint design.
The majority of fish species have better eyes than us.
Yeah, our joint designs are utterly rubbish. Our hip architecture and geometry is not designed for upright walking, and as a result, it leads to a whole host of mechanical issues throughout our gait processes. Our knee structure is subpar at best for what we end up doing. Look at wisdom teeth alone for dental processes. It's where if you think this is intelligent design, then let's just say the designer isn't that great. He might need to go back to school. Yeah. Why does my brain randomly tell me to off myself? Is that optimal, says Elliot? Your eyes are... No, they aren't. They aren't, Greg. They aren't. There's a species of shrimp that see more colors than you. They see into the infrared spectrum as well as other shades than you. Your eyes are inferior to a species of shrimp, for fuck's sake.
Thank you for correcting it there. They can see into the infrared spectrum and such, but it doesn't mean they can see more colors. It just means simply they can see light on a different physical value than we do.
Which is more colors. Roy G. Biv, motherfucker. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Well, if you're limited in your spectrum, you get to see more colors. Or if you're less limited in your spectrum, you get to see more colors.
See, but William, this is what I'm getting at, is that you've already, like, you're already delving into your own subjective standards. This proves that this argument, an appeal to the cosmological argument, is purely an extension of one's ego, more so than anything else. It's not one rooted in logic. It's literally, I just think this seems really fucking smart. Therefore, God.
Ryder, that is true. In our defense, we're very good at sweating. And rabbits, bees, see ultraviolet. Exactly. There's entire species of fish and crustaceans and cephalopods and insects that have better eye structures and optical receptors than we do. Like this
Growing up on the nervous system, it was wired by I was about to say the arser, but it was wired by a complete freaking idiot.
Yeah, as somebody who has a progressive neurological issue, yeah, the autoimmune system in combination with the neurological system in the human body, let's just say there's a couple of problems I'd like to point out.
Not even that. We have nerves that are like don't need to be the way they are. They are like wrapped around the spine when they don't need to be.
Yeah.
It's a funny bones reaction is a proof that our nerves aren't always, perfectly aligned.
Your body can destroy itself with its own immune system.
The spine is so fragile, it can debilitate itself from sleeping awkwardly.
Oh, yeah, fucking... I woke up with horrible back pain today.
And even like this, and even then, like if the goal was like consciousness or whatever, like why? like humans being conscious isn't like a universal good thing. I mean,
Yep.
global warming, the genocides we've done, the vast us being conscious didn't exactly lead to a lot of intelligent outcomes.
Estrella, male dicks are dumb as fuck, evolutionarily speaking, too. Rabbit, flies process visual information so fast, we basically appear to them to be moving in slow-mo. Yes, if you showed a movie or television to a fly, it's just a slideshow. It's just a series of still images that slowly but surely change. They don't even see it the same way we do. Fortu's fucking nailing it down. Subpar eyes, subpar smell, subpar hearing. We can't even feel magnetic fields or electricity. We don't run as fast as we could. We can't regenerate limbs. Our sense of orientation is pretty limited. Our grip is weak. We can't even digest bones or projectile vomit as a defense mechanism. Plus, consider the Kardashians.
I like the Kardashians. I mean, fuck. I mean, like, if we're really getting into, like, the flaws of human consciousness, I mean, fuck. Literally just point to any genocidal dictator, period, and how many people just fell for that shit.
I have another fun question
How
about
many
human
of them
consciousness.
said they...
Can you prove we're conscious?
Oh, that's the other one, too. It's like, none of us can prove to each other that we're conscious. We can't even prove it to ourselves. The only thing that we can be sure of is that we exist.
And we can't even really be sure of that.
I'm sure of that.
Well, true, but...
I could be a brain in a jar running a very, very boring simulation.
It's, yeah. Like, if this is info, no, I'm not a solipsist like that. I don't need proof, damn it. Well, that's one of the fundamental problems. Holland, what does an anarchist want? That's like asking what a human being wants. What do you want, Holland? I don't speak for all anarchists, and we aren't a unified hive mind. We have many varied goals and areas in which we operate. Ideally, if I were to paint with a wide brush, I would say something along the lines of the abolition of unjust hierarchies, and an end to authoritarian behavior within the human species as sort of a project of projects. But, yeah, some anarchists want a complete abolition of the nation-state structure. Some anarchists are just trying to feed homeless people. Some anarchists are attempting to keep their communities knit more closely together using mutual aid. Some anarchists are attempting to disempower the military-industrial complex. Some anarchists are headed towards the prison-industrial complex, and they see that as their target. Some anarchists are concerned with indigenous rights, and some anarchists are concerned with environmental issues. Some anarchists are concerned with capitalism and its degrading effects upon our globe and our society. There's many anarchists, and we have many causes. But if I had to boil it down, yes, the thing that unifies us is a distrust of authority. And yeah, I'm just going to go with a distrust of authority. That seems to unify us. It's the one thing we can all sort of get along as anarchists. It's like, you show me somebody who has unchecked power, and I'll show you somebody we're not fans of. So, people who are unhappy with the status quo, basically. Yeah. I mean, that's a gross oversimplification, but if you want a gross oversimplification, then yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. The general directions you'll see anarchists trend towards are ones that are less authoritarian, more ethical, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's just broad strokes that they move in, more so than hard lines.
Where was what was it? Oh, it was the story about the Fermi lab. To Shore SM7B. It really isn't Holland. It really isn't very impractical. It's amazing how well it would serve you in this life. Somebody said that's a very good. God, what was the ferret's name? It's a female name. I forget. But theoretical ferrets was their band name. Basically, it's just born of a story that the Fermi Lab, rather than using like multi-million-dollar robots to clean the particle accelerator, they strapped a cleaning device to a ferret and just put the ferret into the tube and let the ferret run around. That's how they cleaned it.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Read a fun theory once. Absolute lack of evidence. It was neuroscience just spitballing. But they said the reason we have the idea of God is because our brains originally were not connected. So when one side spoke to the other, it was as if it was coming from an external place, and we interpreted it as God. It's an interesting one. Estrella.
See that?
No. That's expertise, Holland. That's expertise. Within the realm of political science, there's actually a technical distinction to be made between expertise and authority. And what you're citing is expertise, not authority.
The only thing that hurts me about that, the only thing that gets me about that theory is our brains would have had to start connecting at the very minimum by ancient Greece, which would put a really big pin in that, why we've had organized religion for so long thing.
We've seen through magnetic, was it the electromagnetic resonance testing over at UCLA, that you can use a high-powered electromagnet externally and cue off the God experience in the human brain by stimulating a particular section of the brain. So, yeah, Rev, that God helmet, yeah. See if I can find a picture of it. There it is. That's it. That's literally it. That's the God helmet.
You want to see God? Plunk. Say hi to him for me.
Yeah, it's fucking goofy looking. Like, it's just a series of electrodes inside the fucking brain. That's it. With the proper stimulation, you'll talk to God. You'll have a divine experience. And so there's knowing that. It brings a lot of things into question, shall we say. Okay. Alright, so let me... Yeah, they induce someone standing behind me with magnets too, says Rabbit. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. Holland, alright, fair enough. So what is authority? Authority within political science is the influence or control that someone has over others. So there's direct authority, or a more intangible form of authority. But yeah, it's the ability to influence the actions of others, as well as the control and power you have over one. Actually, I shouldn't say power, because power has a separate definition under political science than authority does. But it's yeah, it's that. Let me catch up on chat now. Yeah, Rabbit, a blacksmith can have plenty of skill and no actual power. Let's see. If we want justified authority under your brand of anarchism. Yeah. Not really mine, but hey, whatever. I suppose it kind of is at this point, isn't it? How would you propose we elect our representatives based on true meritocracy? No. See, you're already way wrong. No, don't elect your representatives. Have rotational delegates. Delegates and representatives are two entirely separate concepts within the field of political science. One, you don't have representatives, you have delegates. And two, you don't elect them because it's not a position that somebody should have for any significant portion of time. The skill set that is required for a delegate should be shared within the community. That way it does not fall to any one individual. And it should be done on a rotational system that involves the whole of the lot rather than a political subclass which ends up ruling you at the end of the day. You gotta head that off at the pass.
Mondays and Tuesdays, Tracy's the manager. Thursdays and Fridays, Greg is. As they manage the town.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Japanese, it's easier just to do drugs rather than wear the helmet. The helmet is actually easier, and when you turn it off, it's off. Which Eddie, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. So I would have a point of contention with your statement that it's easier to use the helmet. In some ways, yes. In a lot of ways, no. But I'm with you on the drug thing.
Specifically?
Yeah, I'm with you on the drug thing. Just go do 5. In no way, shape, or form is this a recommendation. I'm not telling you to break the laws of your municipality, nor would I ever encourage you to do anything illegal or potentially harmful. With that said, in my experience, it's just easier to do 5 dried grams of mushrooms.
Sorry, this also isn't medical advice.
Yes.
Yeah. So where would one go, hypothetically, if they wanted to use that helmet?
I know UCLA had one, but you can make them.
Straight up?
Yeah, you can DIY them. Yeah, 100%.
I do not trust my technical skills enough to make one and not risk frying the fuck out of my brain.
Yeah, me neither.
Here you go. There is an open source DIY God helmet project. So, there you go. Those are the keywords if you want to search for it. Down to mob god. Rabbit pointing out there's plenty of doctors who are entirely incompetent but outranked nurses who actually run the clinic. And as a son of a nurse, do drugs.
More nurse practitioners.
Do drugs, be gay, do crime, says Estrella. Violet, because of course there is, to the DIY open source stuff. Are there open source shrooms? Zippy, I mean, I don't think the biohacker geneticists have really gotten around to fiddling with the psilocybin cubensis yet. But they will. They will. There's already people doing garage genetics, so they'll get around to it. Cold brew, stoner theory. The feeling of God is a vestigial instinct which caused young humans to trust in parents so that the child may infallibly rely on its parent for survival. Adults can tap back into that feeling and call it God and feel the same feelings of security and they would as the child does with their parents. I mean, you know, as far as stoner theories go, it's a stoner theory. Let's see.
I noticed Willie hasn't been talking much. Have we chased him out?
Oh,
I guess so.
Yeah, somebody. Here, let me refresh the list. Yes, they are gone. Willie has left the building.
Alt-right destroyed. I actually have no idea if he was alt-right or not.
I mean,
Control Alt Delete.
This
Actually, so the task manager.
You just seem more confused than anything.
Anybody who utters the phrase, even if they're trolling, right? Even if you're purposely trolling, if your go-to is that sex is for procreation, anything else is sodomy, and women can't experience an orgasm, I kind of know what we're dealing with, right? Like there's an underpinning to that. If that's your go-to troll move, let's just say you're not swimming in it. Holland, no, it isn't the actual meaning of the word. You've been propagandized. It's not your fault. Happens to the best of us. But yeah. And Japanese and fucking Holland. Yeah, no, most anarchists actually are fairly reasonable people. That's kind of the whole point of this. Is one, radical means fundamental or systemic change, especially that within a political system. Look around, especially if you're an American, right? Is this shit working? Is it operating to the best of how we would like it to? No, probably not. It needs fundamental changes. There's some systemic issues. Right, radical. I want the word back. I want it back from the Fox News idiots who, the radical left, right? I want that word back. Probably radical. Anarchists, by and large, unless you're in South America, or the G8 or the G20 is in town, generally you find anarchists educating, feeding, sheltering, clothing, and helping people within their community. Historically, you find anarchists when somebody is being oppressed. Civil rights, suffrage, labor movement, LGBT. It's when anarchists show up. Is when it's like, hey, I'm being systemically oppressed. There's a boot on my neck. Cool, we're in. It's what we're about. But on a regular day for an anarchist, for the most part, we're doing mutual aid. We're setting up community gardens. We're setting up free libraries and health clinics. We're getting people, bused to, get vaccinations if they need them and that sort of thing. Like that's our average day for us. So, yeah, that's really nothing about it. But the media, the government, popular culture, the status quo, those that maintain the status quo would have you very much believe otherwise. So, legacy. So what should an anarchist be doing praxis-wise right now, in your opinion? Yeah, I guess you just answered my question. Yeah, I did. I tell people all the time, 50% of what an anarchist does is education. 49% of what an anarchist does is daily praxis. Like that's, everyday praxis, feeding, clothing, sheltering, housing, that sort of stuff. And then 1% of the year, I think anarchists should just take a day off and do some down-ticket electoralism. I know a lot of anarchists, including Emma Goldman, would yell at me for that, but times have changed since Emma's day. And I think that there's a pragmatic element, and I have decent arguments as to why you should be engaged in some of this down-ticket voting. Look, the federal voting, it is what it is. But your city council, your mayor, your chief of police, your board of educators, your judges in your town or city, this does a lot. This does a lot as far as your world is concerned, and you should be engaged in that. You're not going to dismantle the system tomorrow. A little bit of pragmatism goes a long ways. whether an anarchist should be handing out water bottles, especially if you're in Georgia. I mean, anarchists are usually not afraid to get on the wrong side of the law. You're like, hey, we're going to make it illegal for you to hand out water bottles. Fine. Then the church going, like, Sunday mom who has 2 kids and has to do the school run and shit probably can't be getting arrested. That angsty 20-year-old, yeah, you don't mind a ride downtown. So fucking go handle your business. Hand out water. I know here in Vegas, when they made it illegal to feed homeless people, there were 2 groups. A Baptist minister here in town. She is a wonderful woman. And Food Not Bombs, an anarchist food organization. These are the 2 groups that fed the homeless people. It's like, hey, it's illegal to feed the homeless people. Cool. Guess who shows up? A female Baptist minister and a bunch of anarchists. It was a fun time. Oh, you're literally in the Netherlands. Hey, Holland. Go follow Ramsey. Ramsey is a fellow anarchist, is in the Netherlands as well, and is very politically active. So, give him a follow. It's one of your fellow Dutchies. He's good people. Hey, Sunshine. Hey, how some people judge homeless individuals. Karina and I were just talking about this earlier. This isn't complicated. House them. It's that simple. Don't put conditions on it. That's not going to work. That's where people fuck up. No conditions. Here's your housing. Once you have them in housing, now you can start to route them into social programs as you see fit, as they see fit, as is needed per case and per condition. But the first issue is to give them a safe place to lay their head. That's it. It's not that complicated. It really isn't.
At minimum, at minimum, that cleans the streets up. At least when people are going about their business, they're not gonna get fucked up,
Treating humans with decency, and to do that, we have to give humans the privacy and capability to be to use a pejorative, kings of their own castle. Let people have a little bit of land that is just theirs that they can feel comfortable in, and they don't feel like someone's capable of stepping on them physically with their boot to enforce something every moment of their day.
And Sunshine, then they say why don't you take them home? Sunshine, to them, you point out the numerous instances of what happens when somebody tries to house the homeless within a certain area. The most recent is in Denver within a church. The church tried to set up some homeless encampments on their property, and the supposedly progressive liberal neighborhood that surrounds them immediately complained. The NIMBY assholes just came right out of the woodwork. Not in my backyard. It destroys my property prices. Happens every time. Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah. It's not complicated. It really isn't. Most of the issues that face humanity are a matter of willpower collectively. That's it. It really, I mean, we've done most of the technology. We've done most of the supply line. We've done most of the resource work. The inventing is done. The manufacturing processes are done. It's just a matter of logistics and distribution levels. Who gets what and why. All right, well, they've been here before. They have no timeouts. They seem to talk to people, like, a lot in chat and in good faith. So I'm not against it.
Who?
Japanese is Cupcake tagged me and said, I think Japanese one is interested in a Discord invite to talk about capitalism.
Cool.
And exclamation Discord will get you the invite link. And after
it's back?
It is. Well, have you checked your mod channel recently, Kat?
No, I have not.
Click over to the mod
back
channel
mod.
and you'll get the updates.
Okay.
But it is back. There are conditions on it being back, but it's back.
Well, that makes things easier.
Yes. I was tired of having to hand them out and that sort of thing, but I wanted protections in place. So yeah, Karina was sort of with me. Karina was the substitute brown person last night for the sacrifices.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I have a strike on my account now.
Yes.
I said the N-word. To test it.
We have to test it. We have to test it. You have to create the word list. You got to test it. And so yeah, it's for the greater good sort of situation.
You can remove that from your account, right?
I mean, I could, but it's kind of funny that the first one is Karina of all people, and it's for the greater good. I kind of, there's no long-term ramifications. It's not like Discord tracked or anything. It's a local thing. Cat canceled. I
wouldn't say that, Sunshine. Social class has existed for all of human history.
Don't. I was there when Taz killed Curio's stream. No, Rev. Karina didn't say it per se, but it was typed into Discord. For the purposes of testing whether the Proudly Radical bot can do its job. It took a couple of tries. But yeah, we got there. And yeah, I actually ended up going to one of the intrusion protection systems. One of the manufacturers of intrusion protection systems whose products I used to use, and downloaded one of their banned words list and copied out of that, because that was a very interesting series of like web searches to try and get all of the like variation spellings of gamer words. I mean, like, because, chuds like to throw ones and spaces and shit in there. And it's like, who has done a comprehensive list of this? It's going to be a security company. It's going to be a firewall or an intrusion protection system company. So yeah, I was, after a few web searches, it clicked in my head. I was like, wait, I've done this before. Like, I've installed these technologies. Like, just go to one of these companies. They'll have the banned words list. And so that's where I went. And I just copied and pasted out of there. So, yeah. Papa, you're good. It's over on Discord. It's been tested. Thank you for thank you for volunteering to be a sacrifice, though. That's very noble of you. But yeah, Karina did the sacrifice that was necessary. Yeah. So you should have just used Cave's song. Oh, that is so, dude. That I'm still fucking. That song is amazing. So yeah, I mean, if you Japanese, if you Jap Zero Nez, but I believe it's Japanese. If you want to jump on air and have a conversation and ask a couple of questions, I'm sure somebody, myself or Kat or Karina, I'm sorry, Caboose and Duffy, can answer questions about capitalism.
I am learning.
I just realized it's probably Japonés.
Japanese?
Yeah. Spanish for Japanese.
Okay. That's right. Damn, called out. So yeah, offers out there if that's what you want. But yeah, I know it was Cupcake who who essentially volunteered you. Oh, Rev, it was funny when Taz killed Curio's stream, though. It was amusing. Oh. Oh, Holland, no worries. Thank you for the appreciation, though. But yeah, it's not something. It's a big tent. We like questions.
How we get down?
Yeah. Y'all see the Senate is considering a $10 billion bailout for the Bezos space program. Seriously, Zen? Do you have a link on that, Zen? God help us.
This is why we need to vote, you fuckers.
God help us.
We don't have any money to forgive student debt, but we got plenty of money to bail out some billionaires.
I want to see a link on that one, just out of curiosity. Fucking there it is. Senate preparing $10 billion bailout fund for Jeff Bezos' space firm. Oh, for fuck's sake. Blue Origin's lost a multi-billion-dollar contract to Musk's SpaceX. Congress preparing the ground for Bezos to win a contract anyway. Ordering NASA to make not one but 2 awards. The act would come through the Endless Frontier Act, a bill to beef up resources for science and technology resource that's being debated on the Senate floor this week. An amendment was added to that legislation by Senator Maria Cantwell, a Democrat out of Washington, shocking, to hand over $10 billion to NASA, money that will go to Blue Origin, a company that's headquartered in Cantwell's home state. No sure bet, though. Bernie Sanders introduced a last-minute amendment Monday to eliminate the $10 billion. I have amendment to add $10 billion. Bernie's like, yeah, here's my amendment to cancel your amendment. Next. Like, literally, Bernie showed up with an Uno reverse card for this bitch.
Love that, man.
I will not let you go on the ground floor and just bail out a billionaire in front of everyone.
And hey there, I don't know if I said hey there, Kidler. Either way,
Unacceptable.
yeah, Holland, Bernie's he's good people. And he almost a trillionaire. Yeah, he can afford it. I mean, a lot of it's paper wealth, but yeah, they don't need the 10 billion. They don't need it. By a long shot, they don't need it. Zippy, beat you to it. And hey there, J Miles. Glad you feel at home, sunshine. Did I see Russell Brand is going on a Trump arc?
I can't say I'm surprised.
No.
Just disappointed.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that, Elliot. Do you have any links to that? I would be interested. Violent, the destiny of Earthseed is to take root amongst the stars. There's that scene where the 10th. I'm sorry. This is so nerdy. There's that scene where the 10th Doctor talks to Rose when he takes her all the way into the future when the sun is going to consume the Earth on that space station. And he does that wonderful monologue about how nobody ever stopped to really think what happens if humanity made it. What happens if they truly do succeed and spread to the stars and expand a billion times over. It's a nice thought. I sure hope we get our shit together better than we have it together now before we achieve that level of expansion. So ungrateful to Daddy Bezos while using Twitch. Exactly, Amorous. I quite enjoy being on an Amazon owned platform and talking shit about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. I think it's fun. I think it'd be great. Imagine getting invited into Jeff Bezos' house for like a dinner party, walking in, eating some canapes, drinking some like high-priced champagne, walking up, shaking his hand, and telling him he's a fucking prick, and he deserves none of what he has. That'd be baller. That's my definition of an amazing night. It's a great story. That time you told off Jeff Bezos in his own house. Oh, okay. Duly noted. That's not Japanese. Japan. Or Japon. So yeah, whoever just jumped into voice chat, you aren't the person who we were expecting. So I don't know who you are. You're gonna have to verify in Twitch who you are, and then we will go from there.
We lost
Duffy.
No.
Cool. Happen as you do you. I know it can take a minute. The new procedures and stuff. Just take a second.
Yeah. Don't rush anything if you don't need to.
That's intentional. Yeah. Yeah, I did casual on that one. Thank you, casual. I don't know who you are, Worm. You need to confirm in Twitch who you are.
Oh, is he typing in Discord right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rather than over on Discord, you need to type into Twitch chat, "This is me," and then we'll check.
I just, I'm curious. What?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not watching currently, but he was earlier.
Doesn't work that way. We gotta have standards. We gotta have some level of barrier to entry.
Yeah, what? I'm just wondering what was the topic that he wants to talk about.
Don't know. But they're handling it. Amorous is on it. Cupcake's on it. Caboose is on it. Fucking love it. Crowdsourcing.
Love you, people.
Yes.
I'm trialing myself.
Oh, crowdsourcing. Absolutely
Well,
adore
you're doing more than I am, so, if I'm the standard.
Oh.
I've got away with just doing bullshit this long. So,
Yeah, we, Amorous. Yeah, boom, yeah, e-bureaucracy, essentially. Yeah, I wish I could run a fucking chat. Look, Cat can verify. I used to have, back on the Podbean days, my only rule was rule 0, don't make me make rules. Then Rick came along and fucked that up for the rest of us. So, yeah. Trust me. I wish it could be that way. Rev, fucking Rick. Oh, I removed the, I reordered the rules as well on Discord. On Twitch when they come in for the first time. Rev, my dad's name is Rick. Interesting. I removed the don't be a Rick. It will forever remain an in-joke for the OGs who know what's up. But I don't need it there to explain anything. I don't need to be doing in-jokes on the rules set for the channel. So I removed rule number 2, consolidated rule 3 down to 2, and now there's 2 rules plus a channel praxis statement when you join for the first time. Workaholic. Hi, it's Worm. Okay.
okay.
Let me just check the account here.
Oh.
Well.
I'm guessing he's just a lurker then.
There's no follow. Account was created a couple of months ago, and there's no. Yeah, like I'm hesitant. I'll just put it that way.
I'll pop into the voice chat, see what's up with him, and then
Yes, please, and thank you. Zippy, you're fine. If you've been here, no. if you've been here for a while, that's sort of what Karina and I were doing, was figuring out how to. I spent, God, what was that? 4 hours last night, 4.5 hours, something like that. Like
We're in here quite a while.
Yeah,
Just putzing around with things.
Yeah, rolling out new permission and role sets for Discord and stuff like that. You're good. You're good. If you've been here for a while, none of this applies to you. You're already grandfathered in. The appropriate roles and permissions over on Discord have already been issued to you. None of this applies to you. This is just because I opened the Discord link and command back up. There's an active link on chat, on the Twitch page and within the chat bot for the channel. But to do that and to make me feel comfortable doing it, I had to institute some checks and balances, because the reason that came off was because of abuse. Yeah, we had a number of issues with that. So,
all right, Worm and Japon are chill.
What about Pinky? Who is Pinky? Because I see a wild Pinky has appeared too.
I didn't check. I just kind of wanted to let you know about.
Okay.
Yeah, Worm doesn't really have a topic to talk about. He just kind of wants to vibe on air. He seems really chill though. Like
right.
Really chill.
Cool. The third rule of anarchism is to talk about Fight Club.
Pretty much, yeah. Can't tell us what to do.
Whether not once have I read the channel rules. Estrella, it's fine. That's where the bot chills. The bot is happy there. The bot is perfectly happy there. Don't worry about it.
You almost personified it. Almost.
Well, I mean, you know, I've long thought the computers were already sentient. I'm on Team AI. All right, so
yeah, but they're both chill. They're good.
All right. So how should I address both of you, I suppose?
You call me Mike.
That was Worm speaking?
Yep.
Okay, so Worm is Mike, and Japon?
Yeah, you can just call me Japon. It's completely fine.
Cool. All right, let me get your volume levels brought up a little bit. All right. Kid Blur AI for the win. Yeah, I'm on Team AI, 100%. So what's up? Japan, you seem to, at least there was some level of conversation going on in chat that may or may not have spawned questions or that sort of thing. And according to Catworm, Mike, you just wanted to vibe on air.
Yeah.
Cool.
More or less, I think it was just what Astrea said, that capitalism somehow attempts to create an underclass for the upper class to rule and so on. I'm really not into... I don't think capitalism wants to do that. I don't think it was founded on doing that, especially considering the past regimes. I just think it's an unwilling consequence of what was created as a result of transitioning from past regimes to whatever we have today. But it doesn't want that. It's not something good. It shouldn't happen. That's how I see it.
It didn't even come through.
That's hilarious.
It didn't even come through.
A matter of time.
It didn't even come through. That is hilarious.
It was only a matter of time. Dude played his cards right.
What was the attempted audio clip?
N-word.
Yeah, that's how broken up it was. Fucking Korea's like, what'd they say?
Can you guys hear me or not?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay.
This is why. Okay, so here's the new thing. has to be active in chat for at least 30 minutes. We need some level of, and the account can't be like even a couple of months old. We're just gonna have to have a higher barrier to entry. That's all.
Well played, though.
So,
No, he had me fooled.
So, yeah. I've been thinking about this for all of a few seconds. Well, that's probably a great idea then. But wouldn't an AI put a cell on us and divide rapidly? Like, what do you think a decentralized network of AI? Oh, yeah, no. Wither, it would be a god within, like, a day. It would be an incomprehensible intellect within a day. Walaikum salam, Timmy. Timmy, fucking OG deep channel lore, walking into the hizzy. Hey there, Timmy. Nice to see you again. Japon, to answer what you said, capitalism is inherently hierarchical. There's no way around that. Capitalism automatically stratifies classes. That's just a natural byproduct of how it operates. So you're going to end up with classes operating under capitalism. That's just the way it works. It is inherently coercive. It is inherently stratified hierarchies. And there's very few ways around this. And the only way you can do it is strapping the ideology to the floor with regulations. And even then, you're still going to have inequity and inequality spread throughout that system, but you at least can mitigate it using a variety of tactics. Rev, thank you for the resub. Going out for cigarettes, chat. I'm a fuck with you, though, says Papa.
I completely agree with you. The question I'd have is, how would you lower the inequity as much as possible? I mean, at least in my view, what capitalism tried to do was to lower it versus the other regimes. We multiplied, we grew, history passed, and so on, and we ended up with still having inequalities, which is, as you said, a byproduct. But what would
look, it depends who you speak to here, and again, you have to understand that we're sort of entering the dark arts territory, and by that I mean economics. Economics is not a science. It's a dark art. It's witchcraft for all intents and purposes. And so when you end up in speculative or theoretical economics, things get interesting. There are certain things that we know you can do. A higher effective tax rate is your starting position. I personally would like to just throw the baby out with the bathwater sort of situation. If you're familiar with that English idiom, I'm okay with it. But if we want transitional states, if we want to try and fix this, which I'm not convinced that it is fixable, but all right, let's allow for the proposition, right? You're going to need tighter regulations. You're going to need greater antitrust and anti-monopoly regulations. You're going to need regulations that absolutely and utterly forbid any. You need a firewall, basically, between business and governance. No money can change hands. Nobody can switch sides. Nobody can bleed through. No gifts to, no vacations, no dinners, no lobbyists, none of this shit. Because that's inevitably what happens is regulatory capture from the commercial side. So you need to start creating that sort of separation that America tried to do with the separation of church and state. You need to do that with government and business. And then what you need to do with that system of governance is you need to strap this system to the ground. You need to institute a system of actual fair play taxing, something like 94, 96% tax rate at the highest bracket of taxing. during the moving forward from like I think it was the 40s to the 60s, there's an effective tax rate of 64% or something like that in the US, and we saw some of our greatest gains made under that. So you need a higher effective tax rate, you need capital gains, you need capital controls so the money doesn't flee the country, you need investigators to make sure when these fuckers attempt to hide and launder the money that you can in fact trace it and find it. So yeah, I mean, you need a very authoritarian and powerful government to make sure that happens under capitalism.
And that's okay, but wouldn't it be easier to put a firewall on how much somebody could earn? For example, when you make insane amounts of money that you and your whole family wouldn't be able to spend in generations, isn't that something broken or wrong?
Yes, but how do you prevent that from happening? And how do you prevent somebody from accumulating it using legal structures such as trusts, LLCs, and other offshore accounts?
Without stepping on the boundaries of whatever we call laws and the freedom of will and so on, that's very difficult. I mean, I'm okay with a different structure than capitalism, or with a system which, let's say, as you said, puts the boot on somebody's neck and so on whenever they cross a line. I just don't have the answers. I mean, I think it's hard right now to go with the radical movement and bring wealth to society rather than bringing it back to something like, I don't know, a worse structure than it has right now. I'm not saying it's fine. I'm saying that whenever we request a change and everything that you stated makes completely sense, it's hard to have it organized.
See, what you're probably getting lost in, what a lot of people get lost in, it's not unique to you in any way, shape, or form. It's just, it's a very big problem. It's not going to be tackled in our lifetime. And that's what many people need to come to terms with. This is a game of inches, not miles, right? We're talking centimeters, not kilometers. And we need to come to terms with that. We need to accept it and understand that. And once we understand that, then it's a matter of, okay, what is the most effective thing we can do? As anarchists, there's multiple people within the channel. We have a dual major economist, finance major who is very credentialed, who advocates for this as well. I advocate for it. Cat advocates for it. There's a few of us. Would be anarcho-syndicalism. And so syndicat is just French. It's a fancy French word for trade unions, right? So that is sort of a starting position that you could achieve within our lifetimes. This is something that is an achievable goal. Re-empowering the working class to reestablish and reaffirm their collective bargaining rights as a group, right? Like this is a starting position. Look, Amazon, yeah, you may be $1 trillion organization, but without your employees, you're nothing. So we need to organize those employees. This is how you kneecap. If you're familiar with this phrase, it means hinder or take down. This is how you kneecap a lot of these entities, is you organize their workers. And so in America, this is where you start. We've talked extensively before on the channel about the Taft-Hartley Act. It's essentially an act that was passed many years ago, coming up on a century ago now. In two more decades, we'll be on a century. That made it illegal for workers in the U.S. to engage in general strikes, wildcat strikes, solidarity strikes. All of these sorts of things are technically illegal in the U.S. And if you want to see what this looks like, you can look to the Reagan administration and the air traffic controller strike in this nation as to what that looks like when a collective says, no, we're fed up. We're not putting up with this shit. The federal government will step in and start arresting people. So we need to attack some of that as the proletariat, as the voting base, that sort of thing. If you're looking to rehab this system, which again, I have my doubts, but If that is the point of discussion, then that's your starting position. The working class is the most stepped upon class in this, in this society as far as that sort of thing goes. Intersectionalism comes into play, and you can start to talk about marginalized groups and that sort of thing. But the most uplifting thing you could probably do for our society is to make sure that the workers of our society are at least afforded a fair shot at life, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If that doesn't include your housing, your food, your health care, your education, then I don't fucking know what it includes. So we need to start there. And syndicalism, anarcho-syndicalism specifically addresses these topics. And so union organizing, but specifically first we have to actually repeal a couple of key acts and laws and Supreme Court judicial decisions that were handed down with regards, in this nation at least, as to the nature, structure, and ability to collectively organize in our country. That's your starting position as far as my understanding and insight goes into the matter.
No, I would have it even easier.
Good night.
I think education would help a lot. And I mean global education. Not only not targeted to somebody which affords it, but I completely agree with what they said. You should have the right to protest, and it's good to have what I call the syndicat. I have the same word in my language. It's a French word anyway. The problem with it is it can become controlled at a specific point, and I had such an example recently in my country where even though we had some old people in that syndicate attempting to fight for the laws and rights of whoever was operating the subway, they ended up forming something like a mafia style structure, and they ended up hitting back at everybody in the city by simply stopping the subway to fulfill their own rights and by their own needs. And by that I mean the people in charge of that syndicate. So it's a fine line. I mean, in theory the structure should work by empowering the people which work, but that's still going to be a hierarchical structure, and you're still going to end up with somebody in charge, which is
why I'm not an advocate for syndicalism. I'm an advocate for anarcho-syndicalism. So that hierarchical structure you're talking about is a heterarchical structure within anarcho-syndicalism. Which hierarchical is the vertically organized, heterarchical is a horizontally organized.
That's extremely difficult to achieve in our society right now.
I've seen it done multiple times. It's, doing it at a national scale is another conversation for sure, but I've seen it achieved plenty of times in my lifetime. Worker co-ops and businesses and these sorts of things. It's just an achievable goal. It's not something that's foreign or alien. I've done it. I've seen it. I've witnessed it.
We're not reinventing the wheel here. It's interesting that even though I'm not an anarchist, I don't see myself with any position, I still kind of want the same things. I mean, you can see what's wrong in society. You don't have to be, a NASA employee to understand what's going wrong, but it's difficult to fix it. And I think you're right. We're not going to see this in our lifetimes, unfortunately. If you have kids, that hurts even more. Trust me. So,
may I ask, where is here for you? Where do you reside, country-wise?
In Europe, in Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Romania.
In Eastern Europe. Yeah, that's a whole other ballgame. And as anarchists are fans of saying different praxis for different places, the solution for your locality, municipal and national, they're going to look different than what it looks for someone like myself who lives in Las Vegas versus somebody who lives in Los Angeles or New York or Chicago or some small town, country town in the middle of, flyover country in the U.S.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And anarchists are really good at that. Dynamism is an inherent quality within anarchism as a set of as a network of ideals, a network of ideas, as Emma Goldman was a fan of saying. So that's, again, one of the many reasons I advocate for it. Is there's not many systems of philosophies of ideas that embrace that. Most of them are very hierarchical, very structured, very centralized, whereas anarchism is very much about that decentralized set of ideas and operational modalities. And so it's more equipped to be in different places, right? My syndicate organizational structure and organizational methods of getting the people to do what they need to do is going to look different than what you would need to do. And so it accommodates that. And so, yeah, that's why, I mean, you know, I've talked about him before. We have somebody on channel who Irish Swede, who is, I mean, he's finance and economics major. He goes in, he does the traditional, what's called freshwater economics education, and he comes out the other side an anarcho-syndicalist, right? Like this is somebody who works in a risk management position for handling billion-dollar sort of money, right? Like he's in a very serious financial position. And his opinion, in a very educated, very experienced manner, working for a private equity bank, is that the way forward is anarcho-syndicalism. So it just goes further to affirm my own theory and practice and experience in life when somebody like that comes along. It's like, no, I have the technical hard education and experience within these high finance realms. And I too agree that I think this may be the only way we can step forward in our society. Now, that may not be what you need in Eastern Europe. And if I heard you correct, Romania, that may not be what you need. But it seems to be what's on the prescription for Americans, at least. But I would advocate for some form of anarchism, one way or the other, because remember, anarchism it's not a thing, right? Like we talk about like conservatism or monarchism or communism or neoliberalism, right? Anarchism is this network of ideals. It's a lens of analysis that you utilize. It's an organizational methodology. And so it's capable of adapting and being dynamic and creating what the people within it need to create. The only structure it brings is one of eliminating that unjust hierarchy, of eliminating that unjust authority mechanism within society. So those criminal syndicates that you experienced, that hierarchical organizational structure that, you know, those criminals ended up taking advantage of essentially and, you know, wielding it as a tool of power, wouldn't be able to wield it as a tool of power under an anarchistically organized group. It's just they wouldn't be capable of doing it. They would have to get the collective on board, which, and again, if, you know, 200 people decide that a 200 person collective decides that 200 people are like, yeah, no, we want to do this. Well, then that's a whole other ball game, isn't it? But it is far different than one person or, you know, 20 people. Like, yeah, we can make a payday off of this. So, I'm just gonna scroll up in chat a little bit. Yeah, Holland, Eastern Europe. Oof, that is rough too. A lot to be angry about government-wise there. Whether does any amount of change happen in Vegas? No, not really. No, this place is fairly static. It's highly conservative, despite the image that we sell, the sort of debaucherous image. This is all corporate run. This is all very much corporate run. So it's, very much about the status quo here. That's just sort of how we operate. All right. So yeah, I've seen that stuff. Lack of free press and a lot of corruption from what Holland has seen. Speaking to you, Japan.
Yeah, I reply to that. No, it's we don't have the problem of free press here, and corruption is going to have a different level in different European societies. Some of them hide it better than others. Um, but as long as the, let's say, the average person is not disturbed by it, by the fact that you cannot bribe a cop and something like that, it's something that will simply exist with societies. As we have viruses and diseases, so we're going to have corruption. It's really hard to get rid of it because you would actually need people educated and with a spine not to do corruption acts. Even if you would have that, you would still end up with a couple of corrupt individuals. So no, it's nothing special in here from that perspective. And thanks for the reply earlier, Kai, the really long one. And I agree with most of it. One issue I'd have with it, the ideas that you're spreading and discourse that you're putting and so on, that assumes that somebody is educated enough and interested enough to be able to understand it. Unfortunately, what we're being fed by media on all the channels and so on is not leading to a more educated society, but it's leading to people simply sitting back on their chairs and, I don't know, enjoying whatever the internet brings on. So,
I am firmly aware of that. In fact, if you want to read what I had to say about that, there's an essay on my website called The 3 Tent Poles of, in parentheses, American Oppression. But it applies elsewhere. And the first tent pole is a poverty of philosophy. I'm firmly aware that the tools necessary for you to not only overcome but understand your circumstances are purposefully withheld from you. That is most assuredly a thing. But this is why I tell people all the time that 50% of what anarchists do is education. There's a long tradition within the anarchist milieu, the anarchist community, that of education, because most people are unfamiliar with these concepts. Most people have not experienced what it is like to work within a hierarchically organized workers' co-op, right? They are indoctrinated, they are propagandized, they are brought up in a world of hierarchical capitalism and authoritarian nation-state structures. And so literally half of what anarchists' job is in this world is education. So I firmly understand where you're coming from there. And I also I'm not a utopian. Anarchists aren't utopianists. Like, that's not what we do. I'm very pragmatic. I understand that this, again, won't be happening in our lifetime, but also anarchism at present works at a sort of small to medium size range. We aren't ready as a species for the United States sized anarchistically organized group, nor are we ready for a globally sized anarchistically organized group, right? Our species isn't mature enough yet to do that. But somebody has to keep the ideas alive until we are ready. And I'm just a torchbearer, right? People came before me. People will come after me. I'm just an intermediary here, grabbing a torch and passing it off to the next person. That's all. And I'm perfectly comfortable with that role.
how long do you think we'll still have nation states? Because I think it's a matter of 1 or 2 generations until we're going to start blending in. Following the example of the European Union.
All humanity's existence is tenuous at best, right? The truth of the matter is it's a knife's edge every moment of every day. But our neoliberal hyper-capitalism, as it were, has actually done a good service towards that. One of the byproducts is that capital doesn't care about your nation state. It doesn't give two shits. The money goes where the money goes. And that has led to a repositioning and redefining of some of the elements of global society to an extent that we are forced into a situation to come to accept that. The full dissolution of the nation-state structure, though, is going to be a minute. And by a minute, I mean it's going to be a while. People hang on to that. People like being a member of a club. People root for their team. And people really are tribal in that regard. That's very hard-coded into the human species. So I'm rather pessimistic as to the timeline for the full dissolution of that. But the effective dissolution of it, whether we actually do it or not, right? Whether we were like, okay, America doesn't exist, that sort of thing. I mean, effectively, trade deals and trading blocks and unions and treaties are effectively dissolving those borders, whether we are ready to admit it or not yet. So, yeah, you can look at something like the United States, you can look at something like the European Union, and you can sort of see where it's headed. But I do think it's going to be a while. Yeah.
And I agree. We're probably always going to have a way of being a part of a tribe, a society, a culture, and so on. But at the same time, this is an example where borders don't matter. I mean, as long as we can understand each other by speaking the same language, who cares where we're sitting at, right?
I agree. That's something lefties don't like to hear. But that we need a global language, and it looks like the British Empire may have done us a little bit of a service in that regard. We need a global language. The world is too small. My example is always tongue-in-cheek. It's always sarcastic, but we live in a world where I can take a picture of my dick and send it in 128 milliseconds to some random dude on the Indian subcontinent. That is a world that is far too small for hundreds of languages. We need a shared common language. And once we have that shared common language, things are going to get very, very small.
And we're slowly getting there. I mean, disregarding where I've traveled, be it Asia, Africa, and so on, I've never had an issue as long as somebody was speaking English. Disregarding their religion, beliefs, and so on.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just people everywhere. So we need to realize that as soon as possible.
Agreed. Gecko, I saw your question a little while ago. I hope you're still here, Gecko. But you asked, anyone in chat knows if the book on anarchism by Chomsky is good or not. Gecko, feel free to respond if you're still here. How much experience or knowledge do you have? Like, how long have you, let me pop your, okay, you're still here. Dude, you've subbed, you've got like 100 messages. If you've been on my channel for any period of time, Gecko, and you've actually been paying attention, you probably are ready to just skip over on Anarchism by Noam Chomsky. On Anarchism is like the shallow end, dip your toe in the pool to understand the water is wet sort of territory. If you consider yourself to already be past that, I would say go with A Government of No One by Ruth Kinna, Kinna. Yeah, if you're ready to like learn more about anarchism, then I would say go jump right into the Conquest of Bread. It'll be fine. Exactly, Rev. Yeah, go with The Government of No One by Ruth Kinna. That's probably a better starting position. If you're already just like, I want to know more about anarchism, the history, the different types, some of the people, that sort of thing, go there. If you want to know a lot, I've got a different recommendation for that. But yeah, I would recommend The Government of No One by Ruth Kinna over On Anarchism. There you go. Cool. Just wanted to knock that one out. Let's see. Let me try and catch up here on chat. Let's see. And if you've got anything to say or ask while I'm catching up here on chat, Javon, like, by all means, go for it. Holland, isn't all of the U.S. indirectly corporate run? No, it is. It is. For all intents and purposes, yeah. It really actually is. Rev, yes, Nevada is considering company-owned towns. Our governor put forth a proposal that would allow companies to, if they owned, I forget how much 65 square miles or something like that of land, and they contribute $250 million with a pledge to do an additional $750 million over 10 years. They basically can become a company town. The board of supervisors for the county is theirs. The legal system is theirs. The educational system is theirs. Full on old school company town.
That's worked in history.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's done really well. He got a lot of pushback. So he offloaded it to a committee who's going to come back with a recommendation. So we'll see how that plays out in the future. But yes, that is, you did actually see that, Rev. Working for the company store. Oh yeah, Holland. In Hungary, for example, public infrastructure is neglected so the president can have his friends build a giant football stadiums that aren't wanted. Oh boy. Yeah, I kind of know how that feels. We just built a football stadium here. The U.S. from the beginning was an oligarchy, says Timmy. No argument there whatsoever, Timmy. You are spot on with that one. Hart Joe, the 3 tent poles are poverty of philosophy, the financial hamster wheel, and the fear of the police state. Those are the three tent poles. Poverty of philosophy, while used by Marx, I use it entirely differently. It's a different turn of phrase. Basically, I just mean, the propaganda, the refusal of education, and the purposeful miseducation that you receive. Sort of, this is the long and short of the poverty of philosophy, right? You are kept from the word go, from knowing how to correctly assess, diagnose, and treat your condition. And then the financial hamster wheel keeps you from ever gaining that knowledge. As long as they keep you on that hamster wheel, they don't have to worry about you ever curing that poverty of philosophy. And then the fear of the police state. If you do happen to cure your poverty of philosophy somehow, like someone like myself did, and if you do happen to cure your financial hamster wheel, then what happens? Go and try and do something. Try. Go protest. Go hit the streets. Go organized. What's going to happen? Yeah. The guys with guns are going to show up. And in extreme cases, they'll just assassinate you. Like, that's just how that works. So, yeah, it's not new. It was a little stretch in there. Rev, therefore, the first rule of anarchism is to talk about anarchism. Step 4, profit. Yeah, anarchists used to educate and help workers how to get organized and unionized. Gecko, I mean, I'd like to think that we still do, but some of us are kind of lost our way. Some of my fellow anarchists are more about like insurrectionary action. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, you live in a suburban house. Like, calm down there. You're not a fucking militant insurrectionist. What's the difference between anarchism and post-anarchism? Boom. Essentially, this is the long and short of it. Look, all right. If you want to know, like, the brass tacks of it, you're going to read Saul Newman, Post-Anarchism, and then you're going to read Dwayne Roussel after Post-Anarchism. Trust me, this one's easy. This one is, holy shit. This one gets into, like, the meta-ethics of philosophy and stuff. It's brutal. But let me condense all of that dense academic speak down for you. The difference between anarchism and post-anarchism is your mindset. Anarchism is about this whole lens of analysis, collapsing down of hierarchical power structures and philosophical challenging of power and authority mechanisms throughout society, right? That's that whole spiel that you've heard me do 1,000 times, right? Post-anarchism is this sort of realization and dawning and reclaiming of your power. Post-anarchism is about, you were an anarchist the whole time. The only thing you ever had to do to be an anarchist was change your fucking mind. Now, you're an anarchist. Congratulations. What do you have to do? Go help others change their minds. which is a huge, monumental undertaking, not to be, easily understated. But the core of post-anarchism is you are already an anarchist if you wanted to be. There's no real work to be done. You don't have to, understand reams of theory. You don't have to have fought in Rojava, right? Like, it's already there. The potential of anarchism is already within you. You just have to claim it. You already have individual autonomy. You already have all of the stuff that we talk about. Freedom of speech, you have it. Just speak your mind. Don't be censored, right? There may be consequences, but again, that's how it works. And so, yeah, that's what post-anarchism is about. Post-left post-anarchism is a whole other ballgame now. Post-left anarchism or post-left post-anarchism is sort of, you're already an anarchist. Post-leftism is an analysis and critique from the position of anarchism about leftist ideologies, philosophies, and practices within contemporary settings. It's stepping back from the leftist milieu or the leftist community as an anarchist and saying, okay, I am an anarchist. I understand my theory. I understand my praxis. What are the problems, contradictions, and alignments that exist within the leftist spaces as an anarchist, right? Like, that's what post-left anarchism is about. It's not about leaving leftist ideology. It's not about, eschewing, humanitarian goals or anything like that. It's about saying, look, within leftist spaces, there's a lot of hierarchical structure. There's a lot of substitutionalism. There's a lot of professionalism. There's a lot of problems that exist for anarchists. And we've been overlooking them and allowing them as sort of like, moral compromises because of the counter group we found more distasteful, right? But adults have conversations with adults, right? If you're behaving badly, if you're behaving poorly as an adult, we sit down and we talk about it. And that's what post-left, post-anarchism is about. Look, you're already an anarchist if you want to be one, claim it, and then have the conversation with your fellow leftists about, hey, some of the shit you're doing is toxic. As far as my position as an anarchist is, can we address it? So there you go. There's the spiel. Thank you, Sunshine. I got a ways to catch up on chat. I'm sorry. And Night Loaded, that was amazing. Is that a tent pole of oppression, or are you just pleased to see me? All right, so let me try and do this quickly. Esperanto, I'm not a fan of Esperanto. Hey. Let's see. Info, yeah, I read Conquest of Bread. I've heard ABCs of Anarchy recommended a few times. Fair enough. Papa John Pig, hit me with Korean anarchism. All right, give me one sec. Papa John Pig 1312. Dong Yun Hwang. Anarchism in Korea. This is the book you want. It is The Independence, Transnationalism, and Question of National Development from 1919 to 1984. This is about anarchism in Korea. So, Anarchism in Korea by Dong Yun Hwang. Sorry, I don't speak Korean. Is the book you want to go to if you want Korean anarchism. Info, the book you just suggested was on backlog. I don't know where you're buying from, Info. If you're in the US, I can point you to a couple of places that I get my books from, that are good collectives or anarchist sort of spaces. Let's see. Oh, and I saw your Japan. I saw that you had to catch up on some work. There, you're fine. Hey, Professor Wobbles. Opinion on anarcho-syndicalism theory and practice by Rocker. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Rocker's texts, but I am an advocate for anarcho-syndicalism. So anything that furthers that goal, within, especially U.S. spaces, I do think anarcho-syndicalism. We covered this earlier. I do think it's a valid pushing point for in the U.S. So anything that furthers that goal of the discussion of syndicates within the U.S. spaces, I'm okay with. So opinion, yes, I suppose is that how I'd go with that one. All right, so Estrella. Yep, I remember Wither. I remember that. Battle. I can only stretch so many fucking times. I mean, I'm not gonna, like... I don't know what you want from me. Let's see. Estrella. Let's see. Okay, I can do a hydrate. Yeah, I'm only gonna do let's see. All right, this is supermoon tonight. Duly noted. Super blood flower eclipse or something. All right, duly noted. Read me an anarcho bedtime story. All right. Wither, poetry or history? Your choice. Hey, himself. Catch you later, boss. Take care of yourself. And I'm caught up. Holy shit. Caboose, you still there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just checking.
Then let you talk.
Whew. Yeah, that was a fucking spiel.
Nah, I enjoyed it. That was a good one.
It's the brain has to be in gear for it, but that's why, like, last night when I was in theology mode and like earthquake photography came here and wanted to, there was a few people that were questioning about anarchism. It's like, dude, sorry. It's in theology mode right now. Like, I'm ready to quote scripture, not, do anarchist discourse. But if you start there, well then, it's a whole
also, kudos to Japan for coming in and being a good sport.
Yes, and not attempting to scream a bunch of gamer words. Dude, that was the weakest troll ever. Like, you got a shitty connection and you try and do it. But yeah,
it distorts.
But it was let's see, Wither himself. Oh damn, what did I miss? I mean, a shit ton of anarchist discourse, I suppose. Poetry was what Wither picked. Wither, I've got your copy coming. It was a bit back ordered for me from one of my sources, but don't worry. You will get a copy. Wither, I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81. And then you will get your bedtime reading. So what is post-left without anarchism in it? Or is that something I should not think about? Willata, I would say post-left. There is no post-left without anarchism in it. Post-leftism is born of anarchism. 1-7. Okay, I'll give you them both since they're short. 69. Well, okay, I'm not giving you all 3 Wither, so pick 2. They're short. I'll do 2. Yeah, well, a lot of post-leftism is born of a bunch of anarchists. Jason McQuinn, Bob Black. Oh God, I'm forgetting names. But there's a few of them that are sort of the progenitors and originators of post-leftism. So 69, I pick 69. All right, cool. 69. 69. No enemy. There is no room for us and them in a world of peace and justice. There will be people who, in their fear, perceive us as the enemy, who consider us deluded, dangerous, and even evil. Such thinking restricts creative action. If two forces meet, the one who has no enemy will always surely triumph. A movement that has no enemy? Must there be some evildoer we oppose? Can we oppose systems, habits, and structures without personifying them? Why create a personal enemy? The true enemy is the conditioned mindset that oppresses all of us. Bob Black, activist Dao De Chang. I'm sorry, Bob Black. Fucking Jesus Christ. William Martin, the activist Dao De Chang. Everyone. I'm quite a fan of it, actually. And so let's see. All right. Night loaded. I wonder what 12 and 13 are like now. Hey Zara. Yes. Many people have compared my appearance to that of Tony Hawk. I am fine with it. Tony Hawk is a hella cool dude as long as you're not married to him. He trades in wives for new models. Let's just put it that way. It's not like he's abusive or anything, but their shelf life is about 10 years at most. So as long as you're not marrying him, super cool dude. Himself, that was great. I loved it. How do I get more? I mean, tell you what, I'll do 2 more readings and Stray, the book is amazing. It is. I think William Martin is a good writer. I think his heart's in the right place. Himself, since you asked, pick a number. 81 is your high, 1 is your low, 69 has been read. But yeah, it's my beat up copy of it. My ear, like, it's seen a thing. It's seen a thing or two. Okay, so all right, so Rev got in there with himself 42 and Rev with 19. Okay, I'll do 42, then I will do 19, and then we'll call it on that. 42. Steak tacos are delicious. Oh, hey there, Tiddly. 42 is balance. Transformation is not the same as progress. Evolution is a winding path that sometimes goes in one direction and then reverses course. We'll sometimes make great strides and feel that a new world is near at hand, only to find our expectations dashed and have to start again from scratch. This is the way of Tao. Nothing can exist without this dance of yin and yang together. When loss and deprivation come, we stay at the center of things and use events for benefits. When gain and success come, we stay at the center of things and use those too for benefit. It's our ability to use events rather than be swayed to and fro by them that will bring success. Forcing events is the way of oppressors, and this is ultimately a futile way of living. Whenever events are forced too far in one direction, they'll snap back with surprising force and power. We must find the balance point in the flow of things, much like a surfer who lets the power of the wave do all the work and merely guides the board with the subtlest of movements. And it should be a channel point reward to get a reading. Oh, Estrella, that's a really good idea, actually. Okay. Thank you, Estrella. You gotta love ASMR, Kai. You're welcome himself. And Eloy, have it. Either way, thank you for the follow. And it was 19, right? Rev wanted 19. All right, we will wrap it at 19. Zara, yes, I've read multiple translations. Unfortunately, I don't speak the language. I don't read nor speak the language, so I've never read a native version of the Tao Te Ching. But yes, I've read multiple translations of it. In fact, I'm quite a fan of. I've done a fair amount of comparative religious studies over the years. I'm an ordained minister, as everybody on the channel is a long time knows. I used to smack around Christians. And I have a soft spot as an anarchist for Taoists. Taoists are considered by anarchists to be sort of a proto-anarchist style of philosophy and thought. Yeah, I have a soft spot for Taoists. Okay, so 19. And by the way, Zara, this is William Martin's The Activist Tao Te Ching. It's a whole other thing. It is inspired by the Tao Te Ching, though. Martin is a scholar of it. So know that. I'm not reading from the Te Ching itself. So fair enough, Rev. Decrease. The path to freedom and justice can be summed up in the principle: decrease in order to increase. Decrease what you want and decrease what you have. You will then find what you truly desire, and you'll have everything you need. When people are truly free, they'll naturally move towards simplicity, without needing to be told, coerced, or manipulated. The key to a truly revolutionary life is the power of simple living. We must show that we will follow this path by the way we order our lives. The way of decrease is so contrary to the consumer capitalist values of our world. Might we one day face suspicion and arrest simply for not shopping enough? All right. That wasn't for me. So cool. Now I want to read newish anarchy propaganda in fiction form. I want to get back in reading, but my understanding of text is now probably worse than when I was 16. Anyway, happen to know an easy book for that. Not off the top of my head, Walada. Hello, Eloy. As to whether Estrella, you dare hurt my ability to make book requests. Let's see. Oh, you just got into Junchi, I believe, is close as I'm gonna get for that pronunciation. Zara, my name is Kai, Kai. It's my name. Feel free to call me that. Address me as such, or you can just call me streamer, or say proudly radical, or rad. Fucking people do a lot of that stuff, but I'm fairly open about that. My name is Kai. Feel free to address me as such. Bro, and allowed to say the consumer capitalist ways of our world. Estrella, this book is definitely in my top 5 favorite books. And Anar Comics. I mean, I've got somewhere I've got, it's not really a comic with her, but it definitely is illustrated, and it is very much anarchist. So I'll have to look for that. It's somewhere in this house. Or press relations. Yeah, Rev, a few of us in chat are ordained too. I think we've got 5 or 6 ordained ministers in the community. Yeah. I know Ace is one. I know I'm one. Curio is one. Oh geez. Fucking yeah, there's a few. And there's even Lucy is going to school to become an imam. So there's not just like Christian ordained ministers in the community. There's, you know, multiple sects and disciplines and that sort of thing. And like I said, I've done a fair amount of comparative religious stuff. So, you know, I'm familiar with Sikhism, Buddhism, Taoism, Taoism definitely to a larger extent. Somewhat Judaism, though I've never really done a study of the Torah. And one of these days I'll catch up my Islamic studies so I can talk with authority or talk with expertise. Sorry, slip of the tongue. Was doing the difference between authority and expertise earlier. Speak with some level of expertise on Islamic topics as well, but I'll get there. There's only so many hours in the day, and right now we're doing the meathead arc of Kai. It's all about the physical stuff right now for me, is how I'm spending most of my time. Physical training, you know, personal trainers and workouts, and fucking make sure I meet my macros and stuff like that. It's a whole other thing. Jesus Christ. Has comparative religion made you question Christian doctrine? I mean, I'm not a Christian, really. I'm an ordained minister within the Christian faith. Yes, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a believer. To some extent, I would say I'm a scholar. There's Curio. So I do it because I am, holy shit. Hey, Left Bank. And all of Left Bank's people. We have done, dude, I'm probably a little mentally burned at this point, but welcome. It's been a long run. I've done a lot of anarchist theory tonight, as well as we've just dipped into theology. We're using the fucking minister card right now as well. So welcome. But yeah, right now we're doing comparative religious stuff. How was your stream, Left Bank? How did things go? Zara, it's actually super simple. Like you actually don't have to believe to be it. Like it's not a prerequisite, which is weird. I know for most people, they would think that, like, to be an ordained minister, you're like, oh, you have to be a believer. You really don't. And I come at it from the aspect of being, sort of a leftist, leftist activist. I'm an anarchist, for fuck's sake, and I'm a gay man in America, and I did what I call my tour of duty. I lived in the Deep South for quite some time as well. So I find it extraordinarily useful to be able to speak the language of those that would wish harm or wish to oppress me in some way. And so it's one thing as an atheist to critique Christianity. It's another thing to critique Christianity from within. And that's how I've always approached it, is if someone is bashing me with the Bible, I'm going to use the Bible to bash them back. I'm not going to be like, well, science says, or logic says, or Sam Harris says, or Richard Dawkins says. They don't give a shit about any of that. What they care about is the scripture. And that's what I've studied. So that's sort of the approach I've always taken. Let's see. Yeah, really interesting stream. Had a great time. Chat was awesome. Very interesting conversation. I'm glad you had it, Left Bank. If you ever want to come on the air, by the way, Left Bank, you're more than welcome. Throw a Discord link. Just cue a Discord, !Discord. Jump on into the community. I'll throw you on air. We can have a conversation one of these days. Totally down. So you can thank Carpe for the big numbers. So give Carpe a shout out. Well, somebody throw Carpe a shout out. If one of the mods are still here, or you know what, I'll just fucking get on it myself. So there's shout out to Carpe, and shout out to Left Bank. If you're not already, if you're already following and you're already in here from before and you're not already following either Left Bank or Carpe, throw them a follow as well. They're halfway decent people. Love you guys. I'm glad you had a good stream though. It's always good to hear. I had was it Friday or yesterday? Dude, yesterday was the stream of the chuds. Holy shit. Yesterday was intense. We had a lot of those crazy fuckers in here yesterday. Yesterday was theology day. Basically, we had a bunch of Bible thumpers in here. You know, you degenerates, you homo queers, your downfall of society. Like, we had that crew. There was like 10 or 12 of them, and that came in simultaneously as well. I think they were coordinated to some extent. But yeah, yesterday was the stream of the like Bible thumping chuds. It's fucking weird. But I'm glad you had a good one. Sir, do you live in Texas? No, I live in Las Vegas at present. I have lived in, I'm not going to do the iteration. It's getting a little, there's too many people in here and I want to completely dox myself, but I've lived in the deep South. I've lived in the North. I was born in the Northeast of the U.S. I've lived in the deep South, and at present I live in the Southwest, and I have traveled all over this country. By age 19, I had visited all 48 contiguous states. I've seen a thing or two in my life. It's been a weird run. So you start speaking biblically, preaching in the Deep South. Zara, it didn't actually start in the Deep South, but that's sort of where I picked it up. It definitely was where it sort of clicked for me. That, like, oh, you need to be able to speak the language. It doesn't do any good to come at somebody who is attacking you with the Bible with science and logic. That's not what they're speaking with. You need to be able to speak biblically. You need to speak theologically. So you need to have a superior understanding and knowledge of theology, of biblical texts, if that's what they're going to come at you with. And so, yeah, over the years, I've gotten pretty practiced at it for sure. Doom Nukin. I love the name, by the way. I've been hit with the Bible. It was a hardcover, not funny. I feel you on that one. Let's see. Whosoever sheddeth the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. Himself. It's the replay is always there. Southwest has the best food, says Estrella. Dude, the Deep South has some amazing food, but anybody that's influenced by the Latino, Mexicano, milieu, community, society, culture, tacos are fucking amazing. Look, street tacos they may be the greatest food on the planet. They're pretty badass because you can take some of the best foods like barbacoa and stuff like that and put them in the taco. So yeah, they're pretty, to speak the language of the youth of today, they're pretty poggers. Get wrecked, scrub. I bet you haven't even read Deuteronomy. Yeah. I just miss Southwest food. We got some good food here, but it's just not the same. Fair enough. Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, that was a run, Caboose. Oh, that was a run.
It was fun, though.
Oh.
Well, at least from my perspective, it was.
Fair enough, yeah. It's a weird mental space. Does anybody have any experience doing what I do on a regular basis on this channel? It's a weird mental space to be in when you like hit that stride and you're just lecturing. It's different.
And it's surely not easy, Kai. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Did you at least make some progress on whatever work you were attempting to make progress on?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I helped a couple of people. I'm in IT, so whenever something breaks, I need to jump in. Whenever nothing breaks, it's clear sky. So.
Oh, well, that sounds technical. Are you within the IT field?
It is. Voice over IP and communications over internet. So.
They
just need to work.
That's my former life. That's my former gig. I was an IT consultant for many years here in the Las Vegas Valley, and before that, I was a field technician. Before that, I was doing custom programming. Oh, actually, before that, I was a director of technology for the Boys and Girls Clubs regionally, and then before that, I was doing custom programming. So yeah, that's my world. But I burned out.
It's a small one because I'm also working for a Silicon Valley-based company. So.
There you go. Currently on IT for over 20 years. Doom, you got a hell of a stretch going there. We'll see if you burn out or not, too. I got a couple of buddies. Two of them are raising chickens in Oregon, and then one of them is raising goats in Washington. Pretty high attrition rate within the IT community if you're really working it. Yeah.
I'm trying to transition to that, getting to a farm or something like this in the next couple of years. So
yeah.
IT.
Dude, there's always you can only do it for so long. There's a few lifers amongst us, but most people eventually get their fill of end users.
Definitely. And you can only tell once you've been in it for a couple of years, tens of years in my case, more than 10, so.
Yeah. IT to farming. Yeah, dude, Zara, it's a thing. It really is a thing. I know, like I said, it's people that like intimately I've known through industry over the years, and then I know of a whole bunch. There really is a pipeline from IT to farming. You eventually get to the point where you're like, I just need to make something. I need to see the fruits of my labor. I need there to actually be something at the end of my day that I accomplished, that is real, that is tangible.
And that's exactly the case, because you're working with things which are so out of the realm of ordinary that it's difficult to do it day after day for years and so on. You need something tangible.
Yeah, that's my mom put me in front of a mainframe terminal at age 4 on a hospital network. So like, I literally grew up in it. It's all I've ever known as far as like a career or profession or anything, that sort of thing. I literally was steeped in it, and so yeah, by age 20, I had 16 years of IT experience. This is my world. Like I got pretty goddamn good at it, if I say so myself, and I took advantage of it. But you can't do that. You can't do that forever. It breaks your brain. Yeah. And yeah. And Wither and Joe both fucking nailed that. The flow state. Yeah. That's what it is. And maybe if I hadn't already done like an hour straight of anarchist theory lecturing and in combination with a bunch of theology piled on top, maybe I could have recalled that terminology. But my brain is fully in that sort of like mild meltdown state right now. Where it's like, I could probably do more anarchist theory. I could probably do more theology, but shifting gears at this point would be a bit of a task. I don't think I could dump over to economics anymore. I think that would break my brain. Zia Duck, political theory hurts my brain at any time. I get that. And one of the benefits of being an anarchist is you don't necessarily need to understand theory. You could be a perfectly functional, acceptable, valuable, productive anarchist and not understand a lick of theory. Just get out there and do it. Yeah. So, maybe consider anarchism. Zara, can you lecture us on programming instead? It's been a lot of years since I wrote code. When I wrote code, I used Object Pascal as a GUI front end, and then I used assembly for back end functions. I did cryptographic programming. That was sort of what I did. I did other stuff that was easy. Like once you can knock a cryptographic function out in assembly, writing like an FTP upload, like automated FTP upload application for a business who needs to back stuff up on a regular, that's literally nothing. So, there was a lot of that sort of side stuff. But yeah, my focus programmatically, especially like the teen years, was cryptography. And yeah, I wrote my functions in assembly. And as I said, Delphi or Object Pascal was my front end, because you could inline your assembly code in the Delphi compilers. So that was my chosen platform or IDE for that sort of thing.
Wow, way to show off.
It's been a number of years. Trust me. I would have to completely relearn. I probably could do the Object Pascal too now still, because it's closer to natural language. It's closer to that 4th gen programming language, but assembly would be rough. I'd have to sit down and study still, like it now, sort of thing. And wow, old Port 21, dude, I miss those days for sure.
When you say Object Pascal, you mean an object-oriented Pascal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want to know what it was, it's generally called Delphi. So yeah, that's how you can find it. Just type Delphi Object Pascal, and you will find. I don't know who's making it now. Embarcadero maybe is handling that these days. It used to be Borland back in those days. Let me give it a quick look. Yeah, it's Embarcadero these days. Who's still keeping that flame alive. It's a very good rapid application development. It's a very good RAD. Yeah, I'm just saying Nikon, Wells Fargo, Intuit, GE, Nokia, Hitachi, Morgan Stanley, all using it. It's the RAD Studio for Embarcadero. It looks like they're up to 10.4.2. Yeah, but Windows, Android, iOS, Mac OS, and Linux all out of one code base. All right, imagine that compiler. It's an amazing. It never got the love I think it should have gotten. It's an amazing development platform. So, yeah, that's what I developed in. It's always fun. I used to do AutoCAD drawings using command line. Dude, that's fairly big dick energy. I'm down for it. Delphi was the rage in the 90s. My firm still has little bits of it floating around because there's a Linux cross compiler called Kylix. Yes. Yeah, and Rosie Rose. It's a really good name. I really like that. Oh, you've been here before. You're subbed. You were here on the 19th. I'm sorry, I don't remember that name. That makes me feel bad that didn't spring to mind, but I really like your name. I only use the non-object oriented Pascal Borland IEDs as Zooduck. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's been drew an owl with a graphing calculator once. So yeah, forgive me if I've missed any questions or anything in chat. If you just tag me again if I missed anything. Smoking, what are your thoughts on the vaccine? It depends whose vaccine, but in general, it's fine. Fucking take it. Shut the fuck up and stop complaining. I'm not speaking to you directly. I'm more speaking to, we know who I'm speaking to. Fucking Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's. Oh, and Zara, thanks for the follow, by the way. Good night, Wither. Take care of yourself. Sleep well. I'll see you on the flip side, my man. Papa, he's talking to me, by the way. What is it? Oh, okay, just want to check the time there. Hey, Lucy! I mentioned you earlier. We were talking comparative religious studies, and I was like one member of the community is actually going to school and studying to become an imam and that sort of thing. So you just came up briefly. I'm also thinking I'm gonna take today off or later tonight, Wednesday. I think the rest will do my voice some good, and I think I think I've earned a decompression day. Lucy, yeah, I think I'm dropping out. Oh, Lucy, well, I mean, you know what's best for you, but you do you, boo. Oh, if anybody's wondering what's coming out of this mug, it's just turmeric tea. That's for those of you who don't know me, that's really the only thing I drink these days. That and water. So, oy vey. Yeah. Himself, I was about to ask. See? Fucking psychic, man. I'm telling you. If anybody has any questions you want to ask, I mean, if you want to ask, I suppose, anarchist questions, theology questions. Look, I'm not doing economics tonight. I suppose I could do tech questions as well if you've got any of those. I do have a section on my cheat sheet on my website if you want a guide to an OPSEC guide, operational security guide for activists. It's not extensive, but it'll walk you through some of the basics and shit you should know. So, just saying, if you need any tech advice in that. Oh, yeah, Zeoduck, for sure it stains things. I mean, that just doesn't come out, but that's okay. I'm okay with it. If, you know, Cappy's okay with it too. For those of you who are new and aren't around, here. That's Cappy. Cappy's the channel mascot. Yeah, Cappy is a capybara. I want to be reincarnated as a capybara. They are the most chill creature on the planet. I just want to chill in a Japanese onsen with a fucking orange peel on my head, looking like I'm a giant stoned rodent that even anacondas don't bother fucking with because we're all fucking cool. All right, that's Cappy. Best animals ever, for sure. I mean, Zara, not in this life. I'm not. Look, I got plenty of degeneracy in me. Nothing against the furry community, but that's not my gig. Dressing up in a mascot outfit isn't my thing. I'd do it once or twice. I've never had the opportunity, but I'd do it. Some of those outfits, some of those suits are astoundingly well made. I understand that they're not inexpensive either. But you know, the creativity, the workmanship, the bespoke nature of some of those, trust me, I'd rock one just, you know, for shits and giggles and go to a convention or something. Yeah, I got no problem with that, but yeah, it's not my thing. You're sounding more and more like a furry. I have an appreciation for most things. You'll find that if you spend enough time on the channel, if you spend enough time around me, what you'll find is that I can mentally put myself in a lot of spaces. And I'm comfortable with it. There's not much stuff that makes me truly uncomfortable. So I'm okay trying things. I've tried a lot of things in my lifetime. Things that freak people out, things that make people scared, things that make people uncomfortable. I happily and proudly count myself amongst what I call the edge runners, or what Terrence McKenna called the edge runners. The extremophiles of our societies. Quite frankly, they're my people. So, you humanitarian, you. Capybaras are really chill and love to hang out with other animals. I know, I love them. Night owls are better though. Well, fucking definitely me, sunshine. Yeah, you guys are serious night owls. Let's see. How do we stop this? South and Central America suffered the most dramatic decline in vertebrate populations and 89% loss in vertebrate populations compared with, oh yeah, the ecological collapse, Japan. Basically, that's capitalism. I'm sorry, it just is. That one has to be that one has to be laid at the feet of capitalism. That's consumer culture. There is no infinite growth within a finite system. And some of the fundamental economic tenets of capitalism require that growth. The dividends need to be paid out. The stockholders expect growth. The board expects growth. There needs to be gains next quarter, right? These sorts of core concepts within, we could, further drill it down and say something like neoliberal hypercapitalism, right? And not just throw it at capitalism entirely. But the iteration of global capitalism that we see in this current iteration, at least, is reliant upon that level of infinite growth, and we live within a finite system. It doesn't exist. And so that level of consumer culture is firmly responsible for that. The destruction of wildlands and forests, old growth forests and Amazonian basins, and, you know, the draining of aquifers and the collapse of the insect populations as a result of the use of fertilizers and petroleum byproducts to drive the demand for, you know, further big agricultural food crops and production, that sort of thing, right? Rather than using more holistic permaculture sort of methodologies. That one gets thrown firmly at the feet of our current iteration of capitalism. There's really no way around that, as far as I can see.
Population control, maybe?
I mean, it's a start. It's just anything at this point is a start. Like, just fucking start, I suppose. Right? Like, this is when people ask me for advice for stuff, I always just tell them, just start. Right? You're going to suck at it first. Just start. Podcast, video, streaming, writing, bicycling, rock climbing. It doesn't matter. Just start. So anything would be a start at this point. But we are firmly within the Anthropocene extinction era. There's no way to, the only thing we can do is minimize the impact now. It happened. It happened before most of us were alive even, right? Like, it's speeding up. It is sort of an exponential process, set of processes, but the fact of the matter remains that it's a lot of the damage is done. So now it's about, mitigation and damage control. We need to change our agricultural styles. We need to change our consumption habits. We need to change how we treat what we regard as rubbish or trash or refuse or the byproducts of our practices. It's a big project, and I'm not entirely sure humanity's up for it. And I'm super happy. I don't like kids. I don't want anything to do with kids. I've never wanted anything to do with kids. I worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs. Trust me, I have experience. I know I don't like kids, and I'm gay. Like, the universe sort of decided, right? Like, I am not intended to have children. So that level of pressure is alleviated for my particular condition, as it were, I suppose. So I don't really give a shit. I'm on Team People. I have high hopes for us. I sure hope we pull it out, but I don't have some little Kai running around that, I have a biological and emotional attachment to, that, I have a vested stake in their future. I have my doubts. Whether we'll pull this one out, but I sure hope we do.
So even with a little Japan running around, so.
Well, I mean, good luck.
Good luck to us all.
Yeah. There's so many COVID babies. Oh, Australia, there's gonna be a population spike for sure. Yeah, there's gonna be an uptick in those statistics. Post-apocalyptic society when one of my longtime community members from the old platform and a mod on my channel, a guy by the name of Mitre on the platform. He and I both have the same plan for post-apocalyptic society sort of stuff. We're not going to see a post-apocalyptic society. If the apocalypse is upon us, he and I both have the same plan. We're partying our way out. One last giant debaucherous party blowout to end all blowouts that I will not survive. Okay? This shit is barely tolerable as it is. I'm not waiting to see the Mad Max version of this shit. Y'all have good luck. Much love. I'm out. All right? Not doing it. You post-apocalypse now if you're indigenous. He's fucking Obama. Yep. Fucking. Puts badass costumes. You get to wear face paint. Zara, you get to wear those costumes and face paint now if you have enough self-esteem and fucking oomph behind you. You can just do it. That's the thing. Society likes to tell you otherwise, but I assure you, you can do it now. Rev, I feel you on that, but no. We'll figure something out last minute when capitalism starts to be a drain on capitalism and on capital and profits. When climate change affects the economy, that's when we'll see the change. Maybe, Estrella, maybe. Yeah, Kaiser, I low-key think we can survive longer, but that's because I might be more invested in the future than you. Yeah, Kaiser, you're one of the babies. Kaiser, you're like, I don't know what you are right now, Kaiser. I forget your age, but you're like 20 or something like that. Like you're one of the babies. So, yeah, I get why you might have that. Maybe capitalism is the great filter that causes aliens to not communicate with each other across intergalactic space. Casual. It's possible. It'll be when the elites won't make as much. Responding to you, Japan. Fucking when we starve, we'll see the effects. No, it'll be when the elites won't make as much. There's already people who can't. I mean, if you look at America as an exemplar, we already have people starving. We already have people being kicked out of houses when we have spare houses. We have people who can't afford medicine who should be able to afford medicine. I'm
sorry, Kai. I should have expanded that a little bit. So I'm not talking about people starving right now. I'm saying that one of the issues is you are running out of insects. So you won't be able to pollinize, you won't be able to grow live meat, and so on. And I'm not talking about some people starving because of the system today. I'm saying about not being able to find food generally on Earth or having it extremely scarce.
The concern I have is that we'll engineer our way past that one. That we won't give a shit. We'll build a drone. We'll build a gadget. It's what we always do. We're really good at it.
We might, but in this case, not everybody is going to have the same standard of living. I mean, living healthy and eating
we already
healthy
don't.
Is going to be.
Look at sub-Saharan Africa compared to the UK.
To an extent. But to be able to feed so many people, you need to engineer food in a way or the other. I mean, you can't go and hunt a deer and eat it. You need to buy.
But we're already comfortable as a species letting our fellow man starve. And that's the concern.
Or some of them eating bad and getting, I don't know, obese and having health issues because of the food they consume and so on. So we're simply too many on this earth right now. It's sustained this way of living.
Oh, well, Amorous, I'm on that camp. The population number isn't the issue. It's logistics. It's not that there's too many people. We already produce more than enough food for this planet. And the carry capacity for the planet is near as has been devised is many times past what we at present have. It's a logistics issue. We're not spreading it around appropriately, and we're wasting a shit ton of it. So, yeah, Amorous, I'm on the same page with that one. As I always say, your Yankee medical system is just cruel. It is. Yeah, Gecko. It 100% is. It is just cruelty for cruelty's sake. There's really no way around that. It's kind of fucked. Is he really still or I'm sorry, they okay, so 3. Let me just check something really quickly here. Sorry.
Hello again, Kingston. It seems I need to help you again. Nico.
I'm just trying to get somebody's attention here who also is streaming. I'll check in on chat here in a second, but Love of God, public. Look at your fucking chat log.
How much longer are you on for? Oh, at least another hour.
Oh, solid. Sold. All right. So, it has been a hell of a stream here. For those of you that don't know me already, my name is Kai. I do this 5 days a week if I don't take a day off, which I occasionally do for the care of my voice and care of my mental health. But I'm on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, U.S. Tuesday, Thursdays, 11:30 p.m. Pacific time. You can throw me a follow, whatever. But you can see all of my stuff, whether it's writing or photography or stream replays archive at my website, kaisthings.com, KAIS things.com. But it has been a long stream. Oh shit. Sorry, Kaiser. That's fucked up. So I'm going to bail. Japan, it's been lovely speaking with you. It's lovely getting to know you.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
You're quite welcome. Caboose, thanks for hanging out, you lazy prick.
Yeah.
And everybody else, we're going to go raid Public Loser. So even if you're going to bail, hang out for a little bit, say hi to Public. Public is very good people. I love Public. They are, them, just so you know, but they're just a game streamer. We're going to be doing theology, economics, or politics over there. Behave yourselves. I will see y'all later.